It's horrible, I tell you. Working on the dead. Trying to bring back life. It's not natural. You with your weird ideas. Haven't I stayed here and nursed dying dogs? Yeah. And even that miserable cat? Agony! I can't stand this torture! Stealing through my body, creeping through my veins, pouring in my blood. Oh, darts of fire in my brain.
Don't you eat? Just tell me once why you don't eat your Hasselpfeffer, eh?
Und don't you saubraten Betty.
And when I must once more tell you to eat, then I will right away send you out from the house out. So, you hear? I won't have it. I won't have it. You go to school in the morning and you stay there all day, you work hard and you study hard, and you come home and you won't eat as well as you
come on, Betty.
I say, what is this? What is this? I won't have it. I won't have it. Why did you say something? Why did you say something? And why your father is not? What's it loose? Don't talk to me. Don't talk to me. Don't not butter. I won't have it. I won't have it.
story about Minnie the Moocher. She was a red-hot hoochie coocher. She was the roughest, toughest frail. Minnie had a heart as big as a whale. Ho-dee-ho, ho-dee-ho, hidey-hidey-hidey. Howdy-ho. Howdy-ho. She messed around with a bloke named Smokey. She loved him though he was cokey. He took her down to Chinatown. He showed her how to kick the gong around. Showed her how to kick the gong around. She had a dream about the king of Sweden. He gave her things that she was needing. He gave her a home built of gold and steel, a diamond car with the platinum wheels. Oh, ski-bop-doot-dot, let it do. Oh, ski-bop-doot-dot, let it do. Ski-bop-de-goo-gee-lee, ski-bop-de-good. Ski-bop-de-goo-gee-lee-ski-bop-de-good. Ski-bop-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun He gave her his townhouse and his racing horses. Each meal she ate was a dozen courses. She had $1 million worth of nickels and dimes. She sat around and counted them all 1,000,000 times. Oh, dee-ho, dee-ho. Oh, dee-ho, dee-ho. Dee-ha, dee-ha. Dee-ha, dee-ha.
They'll make her one of us. A loving cup, a loving cup.
They're going to make you one of them, my peacock. They're going to make you one of them, my
Good evening, goblins and ghouls, and welcome to the Friday Night Scream Stream. I'm your host, Spakenstein, joined as always by my very good friends, Mr. Evan Sink.
Good evening.
And Mr. Fresh Rogan.
What the fuck is going on?
What the... Okay.
Fresh is in the building.
Fresh is in the house. Ho, ho, ho. Whoa. Hey now. You got to rein it in. We got to rein it in. We got to save our energy. And I'm just, Fresh, actually, you're setting the tone right. Let's go ahead and get all of our curse words out now. We were talking about this before the show. So
we've got a very special episode.
A very special episode. We're watching a film from Hollywood's Code era. If you don't know about the Hollywood production code, we're getting into all that tonight. Suffice to say, if you hadn't heard of it, this thing was so rigid that obviously that's why words like fuck and shit and piss aren't heard in classic Hollywood movies. So this is a challenge for tonight. Can we abide? And we'll get into what the rules of the code are, but can we abide by the production code? Can we resist swearing? Can Evan make sure not to flash his dong in any displays of gratuitous nudity? Will Fresh talk shit about the clergy? We got to cut all that out. Do what?
You said it. You swore.
I did. Well, yes. We get it out. I've already lost. So that's a mulligan. Everybody gets one. We all get one. You get one.
Garrett just used his.
And I just used mine in the first minute after I made the proclamation that we're not swearing tonight. We're following the rules of the code. So good evening, everybody. Welcome to our weekly offering of public domain horror. Again, we're going back to classic Hollywood. So we're breaking down the code, and we're watching a little movie from 1934 called The Ghost Walks. It's a horror comedy. So it's, we'll hopefully get some yucks and we'll get some scares, and we'll see what happens. But
some steps.
Some steps.
I want to see this ghost walk.
Certainly, if the ghost were to be walking, we'd think we'd also see some steps at some point. Typically, also, these are old dark house movies, and those houses are usually at least 2 stories, if not 4. They're usually, with each level comes some...
There's stairs involved. There's steps.
Always steps. You gotta go through the steps.
What Garrett is trying to say is there are levels to this shit.
There are levels to this.
Yes. This movie works on multiple levels. The first floor, the second floor.
Basement.
The basement.
All levels. No, this will be an interesting movie, and again, we're gonna. So we're this is our first movie of 2023. So welcome to our new year.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Still here.
Still alive and kicking. Still, we've done 10 months of the show now, so we're on month 11. So that's pretty exciting. And
we're in our 4th season. Winter.
Yes, winter is here. The doldrums of winter. Although we have usually for these old dark house films, usually a dark and stormy night is kind of good to match the mood. But we have a beautiful full moon out, clear night here, and it is bright as hell.
Check out this moon.
It is really nice. If you haven't looked out your window and you're, it's relatively clear where you are. If it's snowy or rainy, then you're missing out. Because, even a nice moonlit night sets the vibe for a horror movie, I think. If it was a werewolf movie, maybe it'd be a little more apt. But, I think it's gets that wolf blood. It's just flowing in me already. I can already feel it. We're gonna be attacking this movie tonight.
Can a werewolf have a ghost?
Can a ghost werewolf? That's actually a great question, Evan. I've never pondered that before. I'd like to think that if they haven't been saved before they're killed, then they're still a werewolf.
They have
in the
unfinished
afterlife.
business, but they died during a full moon.
Right. Yes, right, exactly. And so if you're stuck that way, you gotta, and your ghost form has to try to find a way to finish the business.
Somebody call my agent. Let's get Terry on the phone.
Get Terry on the phone. Let's go ahead and get this banged out.
Let's get this pitched.
Get it pitched. Let's go ahead and we'll actually, what we'll do, we'll hire Whoopi and we'll make it a ghost reboot.
There we
and
go.
then we'll sell it to whatever studio it is that owns the ghost rights. And but she's
Whoopi's not the ghost werewolf.
No, she's just trying to help him finish his unfinished business like she did in the first Ghost. Oh, thank you, Fresh,
We've
for
got a glitchy stream.
letting us know. It is, I do believe, I gotta kick some people off the internet. Ooh.
Getting kicked off.
Getting kicked.
Going surfing on the internet.
Yes. Well, Brian Wilson, if he was still writing Beach Boys songs like, Surfing USA and all that, that would be apt. Where's our web surfing surf rock song? How come we don't have Beach Boys 3.0? Where are they at? I mean,
The third wave of Beach Boys.
yeah.
Surfing USA is surfing America Online now.
Right. Yes. And I mean, AOL is, now that's might as well be. I mean, our internet companies aren't they're not the titles aren't considered public domain. It's not like you can. That's why people avoid using Google search engines, right? Or do you? Because how some things that are just in the public are just considered public domain. Obviously, even though as ubiquitous as all these things are, they're still very much controlled by people. So, when Google gets in the public domain, then everything's just in the public domain, right? Everything that's on Google, right?
Because Google owns it all.
Because they just own it all, right? It's not. Yeah, it's not.
That is how that works.
That's not. Yeah, that's definitely how it works.
So come to think of it, isn't it if your product or your service is the name just gets absorbed into the vernacular enough, it becomes free game, like Kleenex?
Right.
Well, how come? I mean, I guess we use Google as a verb, but is that different?
Not really.
No, it's on the verge of getting absorbed. There's a whole thing where Google doesn't necessarily like people saying that they Googled something.
Yeah.
Because of that.
Stop
Quit
using
blaming
that.
it on us. They use Firefox, damn
They
it.
risk losing their trademark.
Casey Anthony didn't use Google, she used Firefox. Come on.
I used DuckDuckGo to look this up. I DuckDuckGo'd it.
Yeah, that's
an
where
alternate universe.
that's where the lingo needs to shift. That's not as easy to say though. Google just, I don't know what it. I mean,
rolls off the tongue.
it does. I mean, although I'm sure there were haters on that name in the 90s. Google, that's never going to catch on. Fools. That's right. I'm calling you out, whoever you are that said that
In the
Google is
past.
a bad name. Gotcha. They really proved you wrong. Yeah. Can you? Yes, Fresh. I do believe that I
Do it.
can do that. Oh, it's freaking weird,
I'm gonna do
bro.
the same thing.
Yes. Okay. I'll do that. Getting this Discord-ish worked out. Let's see. All right. So, yes, again, we are watching 1934's The Ghost Walks. And as always, Evan brings us a delicious cocktail to pair with the evening's film in a little segment which we call...
What were you drinking?
What are we drinking tonight, Evan?
So tonight we are drinking. This is a, I like to say, a semi-original. This is my take on an existing drink called the Drunk Ghost, and I saw this and I thought, well, what if the ghost was a little extra boozy, and we call it the Ghost Falls.
Ooh.
Watching the ghost walks, we're drinking the Ghost Falls.
If the ghost is drinking too much, he's definitely gonna be falling and stumbling and just moving all around. It would kind of be a mess. Hopefully he's not holding a drink while he's falling, because that would really be a mess.
Right, when he's on all of these stairs.
Right.
So this is made with some coconut rum, some vanilla vodka, spiced rum, quite a bit of coconut cream, and we're gonna top this with some lemon lime soda.
A lemon lime soda.
So
sounds good. And I was telling Evan, I told him on the mini-sode, I'm not the biggest coconut fan. So I am excited about this cocktail. It sounds really interesting.
it looks like just like a glass of coconut milk.
And
That's what it
can't say I've had
says to
coconut
me.
milk too many times in my life. But you know what I will say, and what I am excited about is that, that I kind of lied. There is some coconut that I do like. I do like those Girl Scout cookies that have the, you know what I'm talking about, with the coconut.
The caramel ones?
Yeah, they're like caramel and chocolate, and they got the coconut sprinkled on them.
Yeah, those are really good.
Those are delicious. I actually have a pack downstairs. And
Is it Girl Scout season already?
No, they just sell them at they sell pro tip.
Oh, knockoffs.
They sell knockoffs at the Dollar General.
They got the copycat.
So if you're
brand.
if you aren't trusting Dollar General, I mean, they got knockoff Girl Scout cookies that taste exactly like the real thing. So maybe give it a shot.
Check it out.
Oh God. Okay, it smells very coconut.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a very coconut forward drink, let's say.
It is. Yeah, that's probably going to be the overwhelming.
But we're going to give it a shot. So
we're going to give it a go.
Without further ado, cheers. Clink.
Okay. I mean,
that's it
I thought I knew, and then I didn't know, and
I think it was just very frothy. I think I might just be getting the foam.
I don't know. I got hit a little more by something than I thought I was going to. It was like at first all I could taste was coconut, but then the alcohol seeped in afterward in kind of a strange way.
I kind of like that. It's
switched.
I got bait and switched. How are we now, Fred? Can you hear us now, Fred?
You are. No.
No.
It's up and down. It keeps. It goes green and then it goes red.
Oh,
the Discord bars. It's green now, and then in like 5 seconds it's gonna go back. It's yellow. It's staying. It's actually holding it yellow, which hasn't done that. Maybe it's stabilizing. Maybe it's leveling out. It's fresh. I don't know if you can hear me, but the problem is I don't have my cell phone on me right now, so I can't kick other people off the internet. So I'm kind of at the mercy of our next
you're
commercial.
good. I can hear you. You're fine.
Okay. Well, I'm at the mercy of our next commercial break, but yeah, anyway, Fresh, we just took our first sip of our drink, and it's it is very frothy.
Yeah, this is a frothy drink.
It is like a very thick layer of froth.
Yeah.
Like
all foam.
you see that foam?
I do like it.
You wait for the foam to go down, and then the glass is empty. It's all foam.
It is like, ooh. Oh, whoa! I got a very alcohol-heavy sip.
It seems like maybe you got all the booze and I got all the coconut.
You got all the foam, I got all the booze. Well, then this movie is gonna be terrific. Yeah, it's really not
Garrett's
bad.
gonna be falling.
It's sweet. I think I'm appreciating that, like, when I really think I'm like not liking the coconut taste, then the alcohol sting takes over, and I'm not focusing on the coconut taste.
It's got a
anymore.
good flavor.
It really does.
Got
Like
the vanilla,
yeah.
the spice.
I think
a little bit
that
spice rum
because it's like vanilla cream, right? Or vanilla coconut cream, right?
Yeah, we have cream of coconut and coconut.
Yeah,
rum.
I definitely feel like I can. Yeah, the cream.
It's quite a bit of cream of coconut.
It's that sweetness definitely is strong.
Yeah,
but I mean, all things considered, I'm surprised. I actually really do like this, and it's look at that.
This is a different, like, how often do you make something like that?
Not often. I mean, look at this cup full of ghost ectoplasm I have right here in front of me. Doesn't this look appetizing? I mean, but it actually is pretty good.
but no joke, it is kind of like a glass of ectoplasm.
It really is.
Oh no, I'm covered in ectoplasm.
Oh gosh, what
It's
is
coconut.
this? It smells like coconut. Yeah, so now you know ghost ectoplasm smells and tastes like coconut. You learned it here on the Scream Stream. Yeah, so that's a pretty good cocktail. I think it'll pair well with the film because again, the film tonight
is also foamy and creamy.
Foamy and creamy is probably a good way to describe this. It's a nice, lean little poverty row movie. That again, it's old dark house, so it's are there ghosts roaming around, or are there people? What games are afoot? It's kind of a little
Sounds
like
a Scooby-Doo episode.
It's a little like a murder mystery. We've watched a couple of these old dark house movies now. The Bat and the Monster Walks and
the Invisible Ghost.
Yeah, I think honestly you could call Invisible Ghost a haunted house movie, even though his wife isn't
haunted.
Technically a ghost, but somehow she is a psychic ghost, because as soon as the psychic bond is broken, she dies. Spoiler alert if you haven't seen Invisible Ghost. But this is before that. This is way before that. This is 1934, and so a lot of what we'll be talking about tonight is the motion picture code that governed Hollywood. Because little do we know that this is the biggest religious conspiracy of the 20th century that has ruled our media and our films in ways that nobody could have imagined possible. It's actually pretty wild. So we're actually going to get into how the motion picture code, or the Hays Code as it's called, we're going to talk about what are the rules. We're going to talk about the rules and how wild that shit was and how it got started and how religion was very much at the center of all of it. And it's kind of a wild story. We've seen a couple pre-code movies. Yes, it's not quite it is it's consider this the Catholic bro code. That's what you can call the Hays Code. It's the Catholic bro code because it's very much pro the patriarchy, traditional values, all that. I mean, if you've seen any classic Hollywood movie, it's adhering by the rules of the code, which are way more strict than you could possibly imagine. So we'll get into that. Tonight's movie came out the same year that they really started strictly enforcing the code. And so, but we're going to see how we're going to see how they were still holding on to some pre-code, let's say plot devices or character tropes that after the code weren't as acceptable. So we're going to get into those. Those will be kind of wild. But yeah, I haven't seen this movie before. So it's, we'll see just how, if it's risque or if it's just kind of dumb. It's probably going to be pretty dumb for the most part.
I'm interested in seeing what kind of ghost we're dealing with.
Do
we have a sheet ghost? Is this some kind of special effect ghost?
I would love a sheet ghost.
Oh, I always love a sheet ghost.
I don't think we've had a sheet ghost yet, and I think we're overdue for one.
Yeah, I think people are afraid of the sheet ghost, but the sheet ghost is underrated.
It really is. I mean, you know.
I really want to see a movie where some guy just walks up in a sheet with 2 holes and is like, ooh.
I'm a ghost.
So there's a recent movie, I haven't seen it. It came out maybe like 5 years ago, 6 years ago. I think it might be called A Ghost Story, something like that, but it's literally like, that's what the ghost is he's like wearing a sheet with eye holes cut out, and that's the ghost. And it's supposed to be really good, but I haven't seen it. Of course. I'm only watching movies that are 70 to 80 years old. God. Last week was 101, guys. So, you know, we've jumped up a decade here. And decade. So
and decade.
Does this one have dialogue?
Yes, I was going to say, at least we've got this week.
Thank God.
And no Swedish names that I have to struggle to pronounce. So, you know, we'll see. It really shouldn't be as challenging as last week's film. Last week's film was definitely fun, but it's, you know, it's always interesting watching a silent movie. And but it was good for New Year's, I thought. It fit the holiday well. So yeah, I haven't seen this before, so I'm excited, like Evan said, to see what this ghost is. So anything before we get into it tonight, boys?
All right, we'll give up the ghost.
All right, let's do it. Let's give it up, Fresh, if you've got it queued up.
Give it up for the
yes,
ghost.
Sir.
All right, and we're going to give it up for the ghost. Without further ado, here is The Ghost Walks.
This ghost was made for walking.
This ghost is made
And this
for
ghost
walking.
is really walking.
Yep, look at it.
That's the ghost's unfinished business. It
Right.
just really needs
It didn't
to
get its steps in.
Yeah, it didn't get its steps in.
He has a ghost pedometer on.
So this is the guy that directed this, also directed The Monster Walks, which we watched last season, which was a pre-code horror film.
I'm detecting a pattern here.
Yes, The Monster Walks, The Ghost Walks. That was the year before or 2 years before? 2 years before. And then he did this. And whereas that was not a horror comedy, this is a horror comedy. So a little different here. Frank Strayer is his name. Cragdale.
New York, 70 miles.
Where do I
Cragdale,
wanna
10
go?
miles.
New York or Cragdale?
Erskine, you're fired. Why, Mr. Wood.
Oh my God, I thought the sound cut off.
Yeah, I can barely hear it.
We come up to this forsaken hole over the weekend.
Dear God.
This storm's really something, huh? What?
I tried to be
Completely silent.
but I have absolutely no control over the elements. How did I know it was going to rain? See, the paper says fair and warmer. That's last week's paper. You're still fired. How much further do we go? Won't be long now.
Good
Mr.
one,
Wood.
SC.
You're
Oh,
better
very
than
nice.
Waiting on the movie to start. I think I would prefer this one to be silent. The sound is terrible.
This opening very much reminds me of the movie The Old Dark House, which came out the year before this, maybe 2 years before this.
Is there something the matter?
I think this is the old dark call.
You get your stuff. What are you trying to do? Kill me?
Damn, they got the suicide doors.
When are they gonna bring those back?
I'm sorry, sir, but I never
They need to.
well underwater.
What's the thing, right? It's just you have to be rich now.
Right.
Right.
We can walk to one of them.
That's a custom job.
I see a light down that way.
Yeah.
You couldn't see a light if you looked at the forest fire.
We see lightning, but wait, oh, there it is. A little delay there. Must be kind of far away.
I counted 3 seconds. That means it's 3 miles away.
Wow, yeah, nothing wrong with this guy playing this gloomy ass tune.
What's that on the piano there?
It looked like a lion or some kind of.
It's small.
Wow, what a great concert! The private concert this is.
Yeah, welcome to my recital.
This is like the 30s version of like inviting people to come up to listen to your mixtape.
Bro, you gotta check this out. Check this out. Check this out.
And they're just sitting there. They hate it.
Well,
it's really good.
The thing is, back then, do you have anything better to do?
Actually, no.
That's why they're all dressed up in this drawing room right now. During a storm for what? That's because they have nothing better to do. It's a big ass house. The set pretty good so far. I was kind of surprised.
It's a real swanky place you got.
Hello, Caraway. I'm sorry. I didn't recognize this as Dr. Kent's house.
Just a moment, Ames. I don't know who this Dr. Kent is, but I'm getting out.
There's like no overhang. The rain's falling like right into the doorway. It's inside the house.
I think
Yeah, just flooding in.
I think your gutters are broken.
Hey. Well, this is a surprise.
I told you to put a sealant under that door. Now look at all the water that's trailing in.
We skidded off the road, hit a tree, and became mired in mud, and yours is the nearest house. Oh, pardon me, Dr. Kent. This is Herman Wood.
I ordered the servants to funnel the water into the foyer.
Why?
Why? Free water.
Courageous. Insane, you mean? How do you do that?
And this is Homer Erskine, his secretary. How are you, Erskine?
Oh, wet.
What a handshake.
Hello, Gloria. Glad to see me.
More than you know. A certain gentleman here doesn't take our engagement seriously.
Harry. Hello, Ames. How do you do? Gloria. This is Mr. Wood, Mr. Erskine, Miss Shaw, and Mr. Terry Gray.
Oh, good to get an introduction right at the beginning.
I was afraid of that. How are you, young man?
Still quite normal, thank you. Nice of you all to drop in like this. Your idea, wasn't it, Ames? After all, you were invited. That had nothing to do with it, and I assure you I wouldn't be here now if I could help it. We were just driving to my place.
Drama.
To read my latest play.
Another play, Preston? My, you are prolific.
Well, play or no play, I ought to be in New York, in bed.
Well, I'm afraid you'll have to remain my guest for the night. My chauffeur tells me the roads are completely
Are they in
out.
Cragdale?
Oh, forgive me.
Yeah, I guess so.
Wet things. I'd have carried
Cragdale
You wanted to be in New York? Why did they?
Then you'll join us for a cocktail before dinner for your staying.
Why would they turn toward Cragdale if they?
Part of the program.
He's like, I should be in New York. That's why we turned right. Went to Cragdale.
Owing to the storm, we're going to stay for the evening. Yes, sir. This way, please.
Ooh, a woman in black.
As opposed to all the women in gray.
Why, you tell her. I'm beginning to be uncertain of everything.
Why, this is Mr. Wood. I'm Mr. Erskine, his secretary.
I pity you so much.
She's wearing like a button.
You're surrounded by tragedy
I don't know.
and sorrow.
Looks like she just got done voting.
Well, you are excited. Mr. Wood is the greatest producer of tragedies and dramas in the country.
You mean he was?
Ooh.
Hey, Ames, about this play of yours.
Why,
Wait,
yes,
what'd she
it's in my
say?
bag. As long as we can't reach my place.
She said he was. Like
Damn.
implying that she's
I've
seen
got
that he's
another
gonna
important
die.
appointment tomorrow in the city. I must return tonight. Isn't that right?
Yes, absolutely. He has to dress the Travelers' Aid Society.
on the proper way to fold a timetable.
My dear Mr. Wood, I would gladly assist you, but until the storm abates, there's no way of reaching the city.
Well, we may as well accept the situation, Mr. Wood. We'll have a good dinner and then retire to Dr. Kent's study. For
Oh, good point. Yes, yep. Could be red. Could be violet.
Could be navy. Could be anything that's dark.
You're violet. Violet. Could be navy, yeah.
Mr. Ames, this is your room. You've used it before. This way, gentlemen, please.
Thanks for that
And this is yours.
exposition.
And then you'll be in here.
Just a moment. Have that coat dried out.
Yes, sir, right away.
Wow. All right.
There you go,
Really
sir.
knows how to
close the
treat the
door
help
when you
like
go
the
out.
help, huh?
Yes, sir.
Hang on before you leave. Let me throw my coat at you.
Take it away.
He starts throwing all his clothes
Don't
off,
you
takes his
know
pants
who
off.
I am? Like double windows?
That's how rich they are. Every window is 2 windows.
All of our windows have windows.
Well, the ghost walks tonight or never.
You don't
Oh,
sound
he
very
said it.
hopeful.
Oh, wow, very early.
Not only hopeful, but brave. I'm going to ask you to marry me and go to California. Where the sun
California.
always shines and the oranges fall from the trees to your breakfast table.
That's a beautiful picture on a stormy night like this.
Orange
But with or
groves,
without the
far
oranges
as
and
the eye
sunshine,
can see.
You know I won't marry you, Terry, because I love someone else. Terry!
Pardon me?
Yeah, Terry, back off. Creep.
You're not a very easy
Women
man
love
to
it when you just
discourage, are
grab them.
Yeah.
You forget the glory.
They might
Especially
let
right
you
after
do
you
it.
told them that you love someone else.
That's none of your business. Here, Gray. I don't like your attitude.
I love someone else. Okay, if I just grab you really
I
hard,
don't
then you
think I like
won't.
anything about you.
I know what'll
So
change
what?
your mind.
Why must you two always act like gladiators? Be sensible. Tonight of all nights must not be the time for any discord. You know I've never given you cause to think
Discord?
you're
Oh,
a
oh.
friend.
Discord.
That
Gotta
depends
end the
on
call.
your viewpoint. I might argue that.
Yeah, get her on
I give
voice.
you the thrashing
Get her
you
on
deserve
mic.
for
Said the magic
continuation.
words. No, S-Sync, this is his last. It goes.
We'll discuss this later.
I can see if maybe I can put some kind of volume booster on it. I don't know if such
Yeah, put a
film-
gain filter.
Does that
yeah.
work?
Yeah, there's a gain filter where you can boost it up.
Boss.
I boosted it like a shit.
Peskin! Did you hear that
Enhance.
scream?
Yes,
you
basically.
sounded
How many-
like a
how many
grand opera
decibels is
star
that?
with a
That
cute
shit
indigestion.
Like 15.
Worse than that. Sounded like something on the human.
Sure.
Pure imagination. If I allowed a noise like that to scare me, your voice would have killed me long ago. Look here. Are you trying to insinuate I'm afraid? I'm just nervous, that's all.
Are you trying to insinuate I'm afraid? Because I'm not.
Don't be so excitable. It's probably your liver acting up again. Have you
Yeah.
your pills? My pills.
Your liver pill.
Any of you folks here scream?
Yes, it frightened me too.
Yes, I can understand.
I could
what
really
you
use a
mean,
drink.
Tell them where it
Can I
came
make
from,
you a
Ames.
drink?
You've heard it before.
Oh, this
Why
is the
scare your
30s.
friends unnecessarily.
So it's gonna be even worse.
Perhaps you're right.
Everyone's gonna have a drink for the next 50
Any
minutes.
scream you may have heard probably
In their hand the
came from
entire
Duchess's
time.
room. She's Dr. Kent's patient and Mr. Gray's sister. You met at the foot of the stairs. She's just a little irrational at times. Well, as far as I know, it's nothing to worry about. Simply emotional outbursts.
Don't you just love a night like this? This old house seems to belong in the rain and thunder. I read a book once about an old, old house. And oh, I don't know how many murders happen on just such a night as this.
Sounded like the Twilight Zone.
Yeah, I loved it. I thought it was the soundtrack. It's like, ooh, it's getting a good musical score.
Yes, I guess so. I think so. It must have been. But it's a union clock.
What do you mean?
Well, it strikes any old time.
Oh my God. Get out. All right.
It's nice union humor.
All right. Yes. Perfect.
What's the matter with Beatrice?
That's so dumb.
It really was.
It strikes any old time.
I was in the
Yes,
liquor store
John?
today, picking up the stuff for the drink.
I am
And,
waiting.
As I was
For
coming
you.
in, an older guy was walking up to the register.
I am
I
waiting.
didn't see what he was buying, but he said, "You ought to just put this in your car. It's cheaper than gas."
Oh my God.
No, I don't think that's right.
Do it, God. Please do it.
Like, unless gas is $40 a gallon. I think
hate
you're a
jokes
little
like
off.
that.
It's cheaper than gas, because gas is so high.
Right.
That woman
It's
gives me
$3 a
goose
gallon.
I've seen saner people than her in asylums.
I'm sorry this had to happen. Beatrice's spells are unnerving to a stranger, but after one gets to know her...
No, say if I never see her again, I'll be satisfied.
Oh, these guys are
Now,
just
if you'd
really
be
rude,
so kind
huh?
as to find some
All
method for
the
me to leave this
New York
house, see
producer
that I take
types.
it.
Oh,
Theatrical
Prescott, we couldn't let you
producer
do that with your friend.
I think your friend is unduly alarmed, Ames.
Oh, is that so? Well, who asked you?
He has high blood pressure. He should calm himself.
Oh,
Miss Beatrice's actions are nothing to fear. She simply dwells in the unknown. As her attending physician, I can speak freely. The girl suffers from hallucinations and the shock of a tragedy that occurred in this house 3 years ago this night.
So many
The brain
HIPAA
remembers that
violations
night.
violated.
Absolutely no doubt. Well, he's done with my house.
Dr. Kent, I see no reason for making my sister's grief public talk.
I bet the doctor's going to tell us about some terrible operation.
that ought to be cheerful.
The unsolved murder of your
Yeah,
sister's
your
husband
sons
must
are
be
right,
public
Russ.
talk in this house.
Murder?
You guys want to know what else she's got?
I've taken notes on her actions since that night, and each year, at this hour, the flutter of that sound is heard, and she has acted as though the spirit of John, her dead husband, had returned to her. That's all there is to it.
I have her prescription list in my head if you guys want to read it.
Dinner is served, sir. No, we're not. Ghosts or no ghosts, we're eating.
We're leaving. You're disobeying my orders.
No, I'm not. You fired me an hour ago.
Ooh.
Got him.
Can't fight that.
Damn.
Gloria, James, Mr. Wood, Mr. Erskine. Hope you're all as hungry as I am.
Just give me an aspirin.
Just give me anything but a tomato surprise. I've
Just
had
give
shock
me an
enough.
aspirin.
This is about as
What
cheerful
the
as an
hell is a
undertaker's
tomato surprise?
You don't want to know.
I don't think I do. Ooh.
Oh, what?
How do they do that?
She's just using her foot under the table. Nothing to be
I was so
alarmed
afraid
about.
you might disappoint me.
This is just a parlor trick.
Mr. Wood, I think you're right. We better leave now that John's here.
Yes, Erskine, I'm not a cowardly man by nature, but my nerves won't stand this any longer. That woman is
Here's a
dangerous.
hypothetical
Friends,
for you guys.
please. I regret these unusual disturbances,
get
but I've experienced these
the
same phenomena
most
in my patient's
sumptuous
presence
meal
before.
you've ever
There's
had,
nothing to fear from the dead.
but you have to eat
I believe
it
in
sitting
spirits,
beside a
but
ghost.
only a spirit.
Hear me?
Beatrice,
love that.
please, your brother wishes you to restrain
Yeah, I would do
yourself.
that.
Okay.
My
100%.
dear
Hang
brother,
out, you'd have dinner with a ghost.
Absolutely, in a
Well, he
heartbeat.
should
What if
be,
it was scary? What if it was trying to scare you?
just like all the rest of you are.
I'd try to sit
Please,
as long as I
Beatrice, there are
could.
guests here, friends of Mr. Ames.
Yeah, I would still eat it.
Mean to me.
The
You,
ghost.
Terry Gray. You.
Yeah, I would eat the
yourself.
ghost.
What if your
And
food
you, my
had a
delightful
goat?
girl,
Like if
show
it's
it.
a
know what
chicken
that
and the
blood
goes to
stain
your
is?
food,
You were at
you had
the
to eat
table
with that
the
right
night
there.
poor
that
John
would be
fell forward.
Oh, that would be
stained
funny.
cloth
The
with
ghost of
his
a
own
chicken.
blood. The night he was murdered
The night she
by
was
one of
murdered.
you.
Well, that's a lie.
Ooh, by one of you.
Open that door. Clear, I'll call the police.
Oh, great.
This
It's
is
Clue
outrageous.
now.
Open that door. Unloosen that portal.
I'm sorry, Miss Beatrice's orders are that no
Unloosen
one
that
leaves.
portal.
Jarvis is only partially correct. I gave that order.
What's the idea?
The idea, my friend, is to protect my
Wizard
patient's
over
health.
here.
Any
What does
interruption might cause the
unloosen
loss of
mean?
her sanity. You want the responsibility for that on
That
your
would mean that he
shoulders?
closes it even more.
Right.
Don't aggravate him.
They're all dangerous.
Everyone will please sit down.
It's definitely kind of cluey. The idea they've all been locked in this room now and
You
they're not
can't
going to
frighten
leave.
me into anything. I don't know who killed your husband, but I believe your brother can tell you.
I thought you'd try to insinuate
I
something
believe
like
it
that,
was Colonel
and I'm glad
Mustard.
you did. Now I can voice what I've suspicioned these past years.
In the
You
dining
were
room
jealous
with
of
the
John.
candlestick.
You wanted to marry Beatrice for money. You, a penniless hack playwright. She preferred John, and you killed him.
There's always been insanity in your family.
Wait. He's right. I, too, always thought you killed John. You're unscrupulous enough to have done it.
That's enough of that kind of talk. You aren't free from suspicion either. As John's cousin, you inherited more money from his death than I did.
How dare you say that?
I can't listen any longer.
Mama.
In the name of humanity, allow Lester and I to get out of here before they kill each other.
I appreciate
Yeah,
that
it's
we
not
have
the guy that
outside
keeps
witnesses
trying to
for what is
leave.
going to happen.
Yeah.
There is a murderer in
Really
this
not.
room, and we're
It's
going to
suspicious.
find him.
John, tell me the person who killed you. Speak quickly.
Why don't
You
you
guys
admit
can
it?
do your whole mystery
Hurry.
thing.
Before you-
I'm busy. I
Too
gotta
late.
bounce.
You'll talk now. or
Yeah,
I'll
I gotta
slap
get
your
out
neck.
of here. Hope you figure out who
It
it
was.
was.
It wasn't me.
Ah,
Oh shit! Is this our ghost?
It's a,
it's
a
fucking
Kiss
weird
concert.
as hell looking. Freddy Krueger? Ooh, that's good.
Okay, that's
Interesting.
I don't know.
Dr. Kent, I demand I be allowed to leave this room.
And I'm with you. Remember my years of devotion to you. Divided we arrive, but united we leave.
so. Would
Of
that
course, I'd
ruin the
give anything
dinner?
in the world if this hadn't happened. Jarvis, open that
I
door.
would think
Oh, Mr. Wood,
that
I'll see
point
you later.
didn't-
You'll not see
I'd be asking
not
for
the money,
dessert right about
not
now.
the penny, I'm getting out of here.
It's like, no, my appetite is just fine, thanks.
Yeah, is it we having a second course or?
Bring
Wow.
on the oysters.
I thought I heard somebody
And
say
so
something about
ends the
soup.
first act of my little play.
Oh, darling, it was wonderful.
Well, we certainly scared those two. Nelson Wood's famous for his temper. Isn't it remarkable how they reacted almost exactly as you had written them into your play?
What?
Wait, oh,
Plot twist in the first third of the damn movie?
it was all a hoax.
Well, you're as clever.
It's a hoax, but then it's not a
I've ever
hoax
seen.
later.
And I've got
Because if it's just a hoax now, then it's like roll credits.
You don't think we frightened them too much, do you? What's the difference? It's a blooming order play, ain't it?
Like in Freddy Krueger when the kid's fucking with
Jarvis,
him,
Go get Beatrice. Good old Beatrice. She certainly played her
and
part
then
well.
it turns out Freddy Krueger's
I was
real.
afraid she wouldn't scram before the lights turned
That's
up.
what you get for playing games.
Messing
Yep.
around.
There it is.
Oh no.
Beatrice, are you hurt?
Somebody get the
What's
Ritz
the matter?
brothers in here.
Speak.
Speak, girl.
Dead.
This is
Was
my
that the break rush?
And whoever
Oh, no.
it does belong
Yep.
to has a gun.
And that is gonna take us to our first break. So that was like a little bit of whiplash there, like right at the end of that, like right before that break, with this little twist that they play on us that all of this was just for the benefit of this play producer.
And then this kid comes in and starts playing drums, and he's really good.
And he's, I mean, well, that's how you get on the map, right?
because of how much whiplash we got from that scene.
Right, when you have a tough mentor, all you want to do is play those drums better than anybody else played the drums before. That's whiplash for you. No, I mean it's kind of got a lot going on in the plot right now, which is, it's nowadays it's conventional kind of murder mystery, old dark house stuff. I'm kind of surprised.
Could we get a little recap?
So basically, this theater producer and his secretary are with this playwright, and there's a storm and the car breaks down, and they're at this house where the playwright knows the people who are there, and they're gathering for the anniversary of this death. And the playwright,
kind of a Rocky Horror scenario.
Yeah, kind of. Yep, exactly. 100% like a Rocky Horror scenario. But here, it's all a plot by this writer and his friends to, I guess, impress the theater producer by making them think that there's a ghost and that it's.
I don't get the. I don't know what they're trying to do.
I'm not quite sure if they're pitching some kind of interactive murder mystery
this is
venture.
how they're going to get their funding.
Yeah, I don't know. It might be a little hard to get funding for such an isolated little show. Yeah, but that's basically it. But one of the people has actually been murdered.
Uh-oh.
So, who did it when the lights went out? That's the question.
She did it to herself. Mystery solved.
Yep, mystery solved.
Wouldn't that be a twist? Actually, nobody did it.
Would be very annoying.
That would be a terrible ending.
That would
she was just doing coke in the bathroom.
That would be a terrible ending.
She OD'd and died.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure both of those things you guys both mentioned would not be allowed post-code. Which gets us into a little more about the code.
What's on this code?
So the two things you guys were just talking about. First, drug use, any kind of. So hold on, let me just. I noticed this earlier. It has like very specific, like how do you treat drugs? And it says, let's see, it says. Illegal drug traffic must never be represented. Because of its evil consequences, the drug traffic should never be presented in any form. The existence of the trade should not be brought to the attention of audiences.
Oh my God.
So, yeah, that's just a taste of... So, this code...
Breaking Bad would have never flown back then.
No, nothing that we know that we consider popular entertainment
that we know and love
would pass the code as in their forms as they stand. And that's the thing is that this code, like, honestly, I don't think we realize how big of an impact it's had on American movie history and really all Hollywood cinema after a certain point. But like, quick rundown on the origins. Basically, as we all know, the roaring 20s were a pretty crazy time in America. Things were pretty crazy. You got flappers running around. Well, in Hollywood, things were really bad. There's like a lot of scandals and a lot of a lot of tabloid rumors about, relationships and illicit affairs and homosexuality and all these things that kind of started to give Hollywood this image of an unsavory place. But the whole idea, though, is that these movies are going out to the whole country, and at what point, if we don't get it, the studios were like, at what point, if we don't get a handle on this, is the government going to come in and start saying, all right, this is Hollywood's got to clean up your act. So that's essentially what they did in 1922. The studios hired this guy named Will Hayes, who was a former postmaster general and apparently really big in the Presbyterian Church. They hired him to head the Motion Picture Producers and Distributors of America. It's just basically like the MPA that we have now. That was the first form of it. And he was the first president. And so his job was to rehabilitate Hollywood's image, both behind the scenes and the actual movies.
Okay, so wait a second. So was this fear, was that a grounded fear that the federal government was gonna come and censor or like ask them to tone things down because Hollywood's too sexy? Who was president in 34?
In 34 Roosevelt was president. But so I mean that's basically was the issue, was at the time the way that the film censorship was a conversation that a lot of times got relegated to state and local censorship boards. So all across the country, each state and sometimes local municipalities would have their own film board that would watch a movie and censor it. And I think the threat was that there were enough people in Congress that would support a national version of that would be like a national censorship. And a lot of these, like even Will Hayes, they were like, didn't believe in that kind of censorship, that's too much, that's un-American.
So they were trying to preempt that
They're trying to preempt that. And
but
also
who is it that was making these rules? Whose rules are they?
So it's basically a lot of people from mostly the Catholic Church, but you also have the Protestant churches, the Presbyterians. A lot of people were up in arms because it definitely, once you got in the late 20s, early 30s, especially once sound came into the mix, you started getting more nudity, more representations of drug use, the drug trade, homosexuality, gangs, gang violence, all these things that were not really being regulated in any way. So like in 1929, it was basically, this code was created by a really religious guy that was a publisher of a big Hollywood trade magazine and a Jesuit priest. And they came up with this code.
Okay.
And the studios gave them notes on it, and they collaborated. And in 1930, they adopted a revised version of what these two guys had set out. Like even before that, Will Hayes came up with a list of do's and don'ts. Like, or well, no, it's not do. It's don'ts and be carefuls.
Okay.
That's what it's not do's and don'ts.
Dues.
Yeah, it's not even
There's
do's.
no dues.
It's basically, and that's what the code is. It's basically don't do this, don't do this, don't do this, don't do this. And so the thing was, like in 1930, the studios adopted it, but nobody took it seriously. They was getting trashed in the papers. That like the guy that they hired, the guy that Will Hayes hired to enforce it, wasn't really doing a good job.
Is there a penalty for not following the code?
That was the thing. There had been so much complaints that the code wasn't really working. So the Catholic Church created this thing called the Roman Catholic National League of Decency. And what they did,
we're going to excommunicate you if you don't
they boycotted
make a decent movie.
They boycotted offensive films. And the Will Hayes and that organization was so worried about this that's why in 1934 they decided to. Will Hayes hired a guy named Joseph Breen, who was he's a Roman Catholic. He's a Catholic guy, I think. Yeah, he was like big influential Catholic, and Breen was in charge of rigidly enforcing the code starting in July 1934. All the movies had to follow the code, and if you didn't follow the code, you got fined.
Okay, you got a fine. Okay.
So, but the way that it worked was, it wasn't just like they censored movies, like they finished the movie. They actually tried to work with the filmmakers in pre-production and in development by approving scripts and giving notes on scripts, being like, well, we wouldn't approve this, we wouldn't approve that. You have to be careful when you do this. They go over everything and give you notes, and it drove some filmmakers crazy.
I mean, if you have a priest show up at your set one day and say, well, we're going to have to talk about this.
Right. Well, and listen, so that was one of the things. So, like, there were all these things you couldn't do, right? So that was one of the things. You couldn't ridicule the clergy.
Of course.
That was one of the rules.
You know, I would really love to be the guy, like the bishop or whatever, whose job it was to just watch movies and
I'd be the one that's like,
code.
This is just too untoward. We can't let our children be seeing Frankenstein's monster fight a wolf man. This is ridiculous.
Yeah, it's a pretty
I love that the body that's governing this is like, okay, one more rule. All right, you can't criticize us. Okay.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing is like, so basically the whole code is kind of informed by the morals of the Catholic Church. They didn't necessarily, obviously, they didn't advertise because honestly, Catholics, you know, there was prejudice against Catholics back in the day too. I mean, there was a lot of, you know, there was a lot of prejudice against, you know, that was one of the things. Even the code is like, and you can't prejudice against like races. It's like all these things that were obviously not followed because of all the racism that you see in films. But there were tons of rules that they basically had. And, you know, obviously no nudity, no profanity. Like you couldn't even say God, right? Like, oh God, no, can't have that.
Don't say it.
And, you know, like,
yeah, you wouldn't want to say that.
Yeah. I mean, it was just all kinds of stuff like that. Like, Black people and white people couldn't be in relationships. Back in those days, it was a thing called miscegenation, which just sounds like an ugly, ugly word. But that's one of the things in the code, like no miscegenation. Miscegenation. It's because they have a whole bit in here on sex, like they have a whole category on dancing. Dancing in general is recognized as an art and a beautiful form of expressing human emotion. Obscene dances are those which suggest or represent sexual actions, whether performed solo or with two or more. And it goes into a whole thing.
Man, obscene is a really subjective word.
Yeah, I mean, well, isn't it? And that's the thing. It's all very relative. But it's like, yeah. Dance suggesting or representing sexual actions or indecent passion are forbidden. Dances which emphasize indecent movements are to be regarded as obscene. So that's a little bit, that's a little, because they have different sections trying to spell out like, well, this is what you can't do and this is what we mean by that. Like it's actually very.
So the movie Footloose was actually about this.
Right. It's technically all about like if this one town was run by the motion picture code, even though your life is an emotion, like your real life, the day to day of your life. A waltz can be hot. Well, then, you know, and let me tell you,
this waltz is too hot for motion pictures.
I mean, they were down on, I mean, they were making sure they had everything covered. I mean, again, like, you can't, no adultery, scenes of passion must be treated with honest acknowledgement of human nature and its normal reactions. Many scenes cannot be presented without arousing dangerous emotions on the part of the immature, the young, or the criminal class.
So, you guys know movies, those things that, are supposed to be like exciting and like you live vicariously through them, kind of. Well, what if we took everything exciting about them and just threw it out? It's gone.
That's what they did. Because
now it's just a documentary.
Because that's what pre-code was. Pre-code, because honestly, the Great Depression was so bad that the studios were like, all right, we got to get people in here. Like, we got to get, like, we can't let this depression affect us. So we got to go racy. We got to do even crazier things. So they were like up in the ante, and a lot of these religious groups and a lot of, the kind of morality police were like, it's that Simpsons bit. Think of the children. It was all of this, all the reasoning behind this is the effect that it'll have on children. That's what it's all the concern is about.
And if you think that ideology is over with in 2023, you'd be wrong.
You'd be mistaken, my friend.
You have to have an ID and upload it to watch porn in Louisiana now.
Oh, yeah, we are. Yeah, that's new.
What?
That's current events.
Yeah.
That is wild. Yeah, man.
That's
I mean,
hilarious.
again,
Poor people.
like back in the, like, I didn't know this, but apparently, I don't know if this changed, but back then, like, movies were ruled not to be covered by the First Amendment. So, like, yeah. So, like, that's the whole point of this is like, and that's how the beginning of this code starts, is they're like, look, this is for the public, for entertainment, and there's only certain things that you can do because it's not free speech. Like, it is wild. Yeah, I mean, the rules are so ridiculous that at the end of the day, it's just kind of, I mean, people did get away with a lot, and they were able to skirt around a lot of the rules. So we're gonna get 2 trailers for some pre-code movies, and the trailers kind of feature some of the pre-code content. So the first one is for a movie called The Thin Man, which is a murder mystery, and there's basically kind of a suggestive couple sleeping arrangement discussed, which is a little racy for the time. And a woman also gets punched, but it's very quick, so it's, that was also like a big no-no after the code. And then the other trailer, I can't remember the title of it, but
it's a mystery.
It's
about a surprise.
It's about a lady doctor, and in the 30s, so it's very like, it's just so out of touch, but it actually for that time is trying to be in touch. But it talks about, it seems like in this trailer, you can even understand that it seems like they're talking about an adulterous relationship, and also a child being born out of wedlock, which again,
scandalous. After
the code, these are things you cannot say. If you're going to allude to these things, it has to be very indirect. It's insane. So we're gonna see these trailers, and then when we come back, we'll get into the exciting middle of the Ghost Walk. So stick around. We'll be right back.
What happened if it isn't Philo Vance? I beg your pardon? Who said that? I haven't seen you since you solved the Kennel murder case. How are you? Well, for the love of... Nick Charles, what are you doing up there? Impersonating a book cover? Shh. I'm working on a case. Don't tell me you've gone back to detective work. I thought you had turned respectable. Didn't you get married? Oh, didn't I? Vance, I married a girl in a million. I heard it was a girl with a million. Well, same thing. I've become a California gentleman. I never heard of such a thing. What are you doing here in New York? Well, it seems that Clark Gable is making some personal appearances here, which interests my wife. And there's a very good bar at the Ritz, which is all right with me. So we popped into town to play. But would you believe it? Before you could say Metro Golden Mare, I stepped right into the middle of a baffling murder mystery, and they put me to work. Oh, you poor fellow, you have my deepest sympathy. I can use it. Believe me, Vance, this case is a toughie. It all revolves about a tall, thin man. I was standing at the bar of the Ritz one day, reaching for an olive, when a very pretty girl suddenly popped up in front of me and said,
Hello there.
Hello. Another glass. How are you?
You know, we do know each other.
Certainly, we've known each other for years.
Aren't you Nick Charles?
Yeah?
You don't remember me. I'm Dorothy Wynant.
How is your father?
Oh, that's what I came to ask you. He's disappeared. Chris, what are you going to do?
That's what I said I'd do.
Chris, you wouldn't do that.
Nikki, automatically...
Nikki, put Asta in here with me tonight.
Oh, yeah?
That knife's missing. I'll look for it in your back.
It's about Julia Wolfe.
Did you kill her?
Gilbert!
Well, why not? You had a perfectly good motive.
How'd you like to have a couple of little murderers for your children?
And maybe I haven't been on a merry-go-round since that day. Are you, anywhere near a solution? Between you and me, I think so. I got all the suspects together at a dinner party. And then I pulled a fast one. I told them, and the murderer is right here in this room tonight. He's sitting here at this table. Are you sure that the murderer is one of that group? Not absolutely. But I know where to find out.
Where?
Right in there. Now, you watch me. I'm going to dissolve slowly into this book. And if you'll stand by, I'll give you the answer.
Eleven 10 Orchard Street. Second floor? Okay. It's 1110 Orchard Street. All aboard, Doc. Go ahead.
This Bambino die, I kill you. You hear? I kill you.
Oh, it's easy for you to say that. You haven't this disgrace hanging over you. You can't imagine how I feel.
I think I can. I'm not going to lie to you any longer. I'm in love with you. I always have been. No, wait. You know why I'm here? I couldn't stand not seeing you any longer, so I ran away.
Oh, Mary, dear.
It's all so hopeless.
But it's not.
Forgotten you're married. What scandal? I have my baby adopted over there and simply return with an adopted child.
Well, I'm glad what ails you isn't catching.
No doctor's infallible.
What good was all my experience? What good was everything I'd done for other people? I'll never practice again.
Could you imagine a woman doctor, a lady doctor?
Like, there's no more to the movie except look at this lady who's a doctor.
This lady doctor, her love life is a mess. Hey, Grey's Anatomy, what's changed? Get a new storyline. You're just ripping off Mary, what's her name, MD? Mary Stevens, MD. Lady doctors have been dealing with this bullshit for decades. Come on.
I don't think Grey's Anatomy is just saying, hey, look at these ladies who are doctors.
Sure it is. That's what it's all about.
That's so stupid.
You can't tell me Mary Stevens, MD doesn't cover complicated medical procedures in depth.
I haven't seen it, but I can guarantee it doesn't.
She was talking about, like, I don't know. They probably didn't mention abortion, but she was talking about going and having her baby in Europe, and then saying that she adopted the baby when she came back. That's pretty. Those are the kind of things you couldn't talk about after the code in 1934. But a lot of pre-code stuff was it was these kind of dramas, things that they did call, unfortunately, women's pictures. Women's pictures. But it was a lot of melodramas. There were also farces. Yes, S-Sync, I'm just saying to you what the trailer said. I also agree that they are doctors who happen to be women. We just watched a trailer about a lady doctor.
Yeah, we need
quote the trailer.
Parentheses seek parentheses.
Right.
Yeah. Yes.
Right. I mean, this is. Yes. I mean, let me tell you. I mean, this is why it's so ridiculous. I mean, the fact that like this is what pre-code was like, as ridiculous as this was, that was actually a progressive storyline back in the day. And as soon as the code came in, guess what?
Trying.
You weren't getting any stories about doctors who happened to be women.
Wait,
None whatsoever.
that was in the code?
No, I'm just not necessarily that, but like, and I haven't read through the whole thing, but I'm sure there's something in here about, I'm sure there's something in here about the role of women. I mean, there's something like about love triangles. Let's see.
I mean, if it's super like religious conservative, it's probably in there.
Yeah.
Maybe between a line.
Or at least implied enough that someone yelled at them when they tried to do anything.
Yeah. Well, and the whole idea is that, and this was the basic tenets of the code, like overall, is that like good is rewarded and evil is punished, and you know, like that's the general rule of thumb always. Hold on, wait, let's see. Oh, locations. Certain places are so closely and thoroughly associated with sexual life or sexual sin that their use must be carefully limited. Brothels and houses of ill fame. In general, bedrooms. They are dangerous and bad dramatic locations. Wait, no. Wait, no, wait.
No bedrooms.
Oh, no, wait, that might be brothels. Hold on, this is bedrooms. In themselves, they are perfectly innocent. Their suggestion may be kept innocent. However, under certain conditions, they are bad dramatic locations. Yeah, I mean, it's really, you know, let's see.
Wow. That is, yep.
Costuming. Complete nudity is never permitted. Undressing scenes should be avoided. Indecent exposure is forbidden.
What about the guy who took his jacket off and threw it at his helper?
Yeah, it was pretty
undressing.
revealing.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of stuff in here about crime, moral obligations. It's really.
Can you read it to us verbatim?
All right, boys, strap in. I'm reading the whole code.
We're gonna do a reading.
Now, if you guys can't behave yourselves, I'm just gonna have to read the whole code from the first page. The motion picture code. No.
Don't make me turn this stream around.
Reading.
Popcorn reading. All right, I'm going to read these first two paragraphs, and then I'm going to call on one of you guys to read the next two paragraphs. So you better be paying attention. Didn't you love that in school? I mean, it's just something else. Anyway, yeah, so
what were we doing again?
I think we were watching something, maybe.
Nah. I want you guys to see this cool video I found the other day.
I think we were watching the ghost walks. I think we're getting in this.
We're going on a ghost walk.
We're going on a ghost walk. I did if I didn't type in Ghost Walk 1930, the Ghost Walks 1934, I got results for Ghost Walks.
Yeah.
So you do need to be careful there.
Hey, you know what? Shout out Pizza Flix for coming in clutch.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, let's shout out Pizza Flix for presenting public domain movies, which are public domain for everybody.
For free. Can you believe it?
So, you know, it's sharing the wealth. That's what the public domain is all about. If anything, sharing the wealth with the public.
Welcome to our Pizza Flix appreciation stream.
Yeah, they're gonna make us add that into the title, like, you know, just a little addendum.
Brought to you by Pizza Flix.
Yeah, that's the only way out of it. We're just gonna be absorbed into Pizza Flix.
We're a subsidiary.
Yeah, I mean, see, but then they might try to censor us. Then they might actually try to make us follow the code. Maybe they're very rigid and old school. Could you imagine us having to clean up our act? Oh God.
There'd be no act left.
We go, yeah, I mean, that's, you know what? And you make a good point. A lot of the code really killed a lot of people's careers that were famous for, you know, kind of doing risky things. As soon as the code's like, nope, can't do that. I almost put in a Mae West trailer And you know, if you know anything about Mae West, she was the like sassy lady who always made sexual innuendos, like in the early 30s. But then when the code came out, like she basically had to quit.
Wow.
But she was Mae West. It's ridiculous. I should have included that trailer.
Next time.
I'm glad we got the lady doctor though. Quote the trailer. I'm not just saying
the lady doctor sick.
So yes. So we are getting into, if Fresh has it queued up.
Yes, sir.
The exciting middle of the Ghost Walks right now.
Let's don't annoy.
Oh, shut up. Let's make them in handy.
A manuscript. The Ghost Walks by Prescott Ames.
So the Ghost Walks is the title of the play, I guess?
As the group
very meta. Very meta.
The vacant chair also moves out
Yeah, it's
as if an
also, there's a
invisible
ghost
person was
walking around.
preparing to sit down. All eyes are on the chair.
Has there been evidence of a
As the
real ghost
vacant
yet?
chair slides back to the table,
Not yet.
Beatrice addresses its invisible occupant. Beatrice.
Only a hoax ghost.
You are
They're
right on
reading the
time,
ghostly
John.
stuff in that script right now that we've already seen.
Preston, we've been witnessing a dress rehearsal of
Wow, you figured it out.
You mean
All right.
Then when they get done, it's gonna fade away, and they're actually in the script.
Yeah, it's like the end of the 8-Man.
Yeah.
I'm the writer.
And now for something completely different.
Don't blink. Don't blink.
I see her breathing. She's a terrible actress. I see her breathing.
Can't even act dead.
Wow, hey, I gotta give it up for them trying to do that pan shot. Ooh, I love that. Scooby-Doo.
This is Scooby-Doo.
Oh my God,
Yes.
Afraid my play has been surpassed.
no. What practical purpose
have a
do you
regal
have to do that?
This
You can
movie
spy
is
on
just
them.
checking all the
But I believe
boxes
we're
in
all
the
in the
best
dining room.
way. I mean, it's doing a...
That's
was.
the least
That's right,
conspicuous
because I was
way to
puzzling
look
with you.
through
I was turning to the light switch.
Yeah, you
I
can't
was at the
poke a
table,
little
going
hole in the
over.
wall. You have to have your eyes in the eyes of the
But I didn't do
painting.
what I
You
tell
haven't
you.
seen the
I
most
didn't
recent
do it.
season of Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Don't any of us.
That's, you know,
They
The
do
death like
it.
face
really do a
slowly
great
appears in the
job
dark.
resurrecting
Ghostly
that
white
bit.
in pallor. The face seems to float as it reaches the table. Beatrice, hysterically. John, lights out. Everyone remains where standing with the exception of Beatrice, who disappears through a door in the kitchen. So they thought they'd impress me with their phony theatricals, eh? Me, who staged the burning of Rome while the gladiators were being gored to
What did
death
he
in the
pull his
animal.
jacket up like that?
I wasn't scared a bit.
To flex.
Neither was I.
So, what are you doing under the
He
table?
pulled his jacket earlier when he made a stupid joke
I was
about
looking for you.
something else.
Ridiculous. I hate cowards. When we get back to town, remind me to fire you.
They're funny.
Let the play continue.
Well, see, now they know. Well, they don't know the new twist. It is getting kind of meta.
Now
They
that
don't
the
know
play
that
is
they're about to
over,
walk up to
I'll
a
have
real
to
dead
tell
body
what
right
happened.
now. They
Here
think
he
they
comes
figured it
now.
all
Ha, still making merry, I see. Well, we thought we'd come down again. It's too quiet upstairs for us.
Yes, we're used to shrieks, sirens, and suicide.
Yeah.
out. All right.
This is kind of funny.
Why, what seems to be the trouble? Has Miss Beatrice been found?
Yes, she has been found. Dead.
Is that so? No, I mean, it can't be. It can't be. It's impossible. What are you talking about?
Mr. Wood, I'm trying to tell you that Beatrice is dead.
Beatrice is dead. I don't believe it.
Let's put this whole thing straight to you, Mr.
She's
Wood.
dead.
We're all actors, hired by Ames here to present his play.
It's getting too much of a meta thing for me
Everything
to.
that's happened since you arrived was part
Love
of the
it.
play.
Except poor Beatrice's death.
Because they're all trying to convince him he thinks this is just the play.
Am I to understand that I've been witnessing part of the play you were to read to me?
Yes, I thought it a good method of presenting it to you. You see, this is really my house, and the fallen tree on the road was all part of my scheme to fool you. The storm, of course, was an added break.
Well, if these children...
What a sociopathic way to pitch your play.
Where's the
Knock a tree down on the road.
You don't destroy your character.
Block someone and force them to come to your house.
We don't know any more about it than you do.
The police should be notified.
Now, wait a moment, everyone, please. I know that this is even more confusing to Mr. Wood than it is to us. He still believes we're putting on the play. So the only thing we can do is to show him Beatrice.
By all means, do.
Yes, death is no novelty to us. No. We stage it 8 times a week, including matinees.
And benefits.
Now remember, no one is to touch the body until the police arrive.
I feel like I've seen something newer like this. Maybe it is Clue. I don't know. It's just like, I know I've seen things where it's like, oh yeah, this is a dead body. Oh really? Hey, Sweet's in the house. We are watching a ridiculous horror comedy right now, and these guys think that they're in a play.
I don't know.
They think they're being had, but there's actual real dead body on the scene. And some Scooby-Doo shit at the foot.
Real one. Good one. And let me guess, she's really dead.
What can she be?
Perhaps she just stepped out during intermission.
Gentlemen, this is too serious for joking. She was on that dive end 10 minutes ago, dead. You've got to believe it's for your own safety.
Now the body's gone.
And you think we're all in danger?
We most certainly are.
Gone.
We've got to search this house and find Beatrice and the person who...
It's very murder mystery.
I wonder who that could be.
Well, we'll never find out until we answer.
I will.
We all will.
It is pretty hilarious that these two guys just think that the whole thing now is a play and they don't realize there's an actual dead body.
Who are you? Who are you? The guard from the Greystone Sanitarium. Seen anything of an escaped patient around here?
What kind of a patient?
A quiet one, until disturbed, at which time he becomes slightly murderous. Well, so help me if this ain't a night.
Oh, what's going to happen to us next?
Who are these people? I didn't know anyone was living here until I saw the lights. What makes you think he came
He
here?
said there's an escape
Empty houses
maniac
make
on
good
the
hideouts.
loose?
Yeah.
You never saw or heard of anyone living here in the past 2 years?
Everything in the kitchen
I've been
is
living
safe.
here about a month. I think you've come to the right house at that.
Yes? Has anything happened?
Uh-huh. A murder and a disappearance.
What are you winking about?
Winking? Why, my dear man, you're saying things. I simply stated a murder had been committed.
Murder? Ah.
I like the
Him all
poncho
right,
that
then.
clips onto his police hat.
Who is this man? At the sanitarium, we'd call him Case 222. I
man
guess
at the
you'd call him a
store said
homicidal
that
maniac.
I'm the only one he's ever seen pull it off.
Now, be perfectly calm. If my
Yeah, see, like,
patient
he
is
doesn't
here,
think a
and
murder's
you
actually
carrying
been
with
committed.
sincerity,
He thinks that it's
he
a
might
game.
tear you apart to see what caused the excitement.
Yeah, we need to bring that
That reminds
poncho
me.
back.
Has anyone called appearance?
Call that.
Oh,
Yeah, hat
well,
cage.
that's the
Hat
usual
cage,
procedure, isn't it?
Safari flap.
Forgot to, I suppose.
Safari flap.
Yeah,
There's a telephone right here in the
It's a
study.
police hat with
Telephone?
safari flaps.
There it is. There it is. It is great. It looks great.
He looks like a
Hello.
some kind of fantasy character. He looks like a wizard
Hello.
or something.
Yeah, it looks like
He's in the
part of
wrong
a robe. Like a witch doctor.
Yeah.
I suppose no one knows who did this.
Why should we? You don't think it's fun to be isolated with a maniac?
If the play calls for it, yes.
Well, I don't know what the rest of you are going to do, but I'm driving into town for the police. Wait,
They're
it isn't
loving
safe
it.
outside.
They are.
I'll walk with you to the garage. Thanks. I'll be right back. So those who want to go to bed,
This is funny,
are
man.
safe enough.
I'm really
Besides,
surprised.
The dying
It's
bed.
got a couple layers.
Safe up there is
Yeah.
here if we lock our bedroom doors.
Well, like we said, it's working on multiple levels.
He said, yo, let's burn
What's
one.
the idea?
He tried to look like he had a joint or something.
Well, can you do any better?
You know, I had a hunch that Beatrice should never appear in a horror play.
Damn.
Why?
Too highly strung and impressionable. A fatalist. She figured if you were paid to scare people, the law of compensation would see to it that you got scared yourself.
Utter
So
nonsense. How could anyone
the drink
possibly
tonight
force
is
the
a
maniac
semi-original.
coming
It's
here
called The
tonight and
Ghost
committing
Falls, and it's a lot of coconut.
Don't interrupt him. The play is improving.
Pretty good.
Not enough action
I'm not a
for
big
you.
coconut fan. I actually
Tell me,
really
Amy,
like this.
Just how did you happen to come to this
The
house yourself?
Sprite, I think, actually.
Funny you
I've
should
noticed that
mention
more
that.
as I've gotten down.
I was just asking myself the same question. Of course, you saw
Very
that
sweet
painting in the
drink.
drawing room.
I
of
guess
Dr.
the
Gillis.
Sprite- the
Sure,
Sprite
everybody
helps
knew
a lot
him.
with that.
The Sprite and the cream.
Naturally. Personally, I thought he was the worst butcher who ever severed a tonsil.
Right. And you remember how 9 of his patients mysteriously disappeared after he treated them?
They were murdered.
And when
9
the
of his
police came to
doctor's
arrest him
patients were
right here in
murdered.
this
That's
house,
enough red
he
flags.
committed suicide.
Probably nothing, dude.
Lost his mind from the strain of his surgical work, I guess.
Get to the point, man. I know all that record. Now, you say this house was his. How did you get it?
Why, that was easy. I simply advertised for an old, isolated country home. And the real estate agent for the Gillis estate answered and said he'd be glad to rent me this place.
That's
It's
always
been
a
vacant
plot
ever since
device
the
in these
doctor's
movies.
death.
Well, I just
People
asked
were
to
afraid
rent
live in
an
it
old
because of the
country
crimes
home,
that
and
were
I
committed
got
here.
it.
It's supposed to be haunted.
I guess that's just
The local
That
people
is what
swear they've
Always
seen the
Sunny
lights
kind
going
of
off
did,
in this
right?
house
With
even while it stood
the idea of
unoccupied.
Dennis renting
Well,
he
the
was
rest of the
looking
story is
for a
short.
dilapidated old
I wanted to
castle
write a
to
play
rent.
I read a lot of old
life, so
fiction.
here I am.
And
It's just a
that's
trope.
always that's always the thing. Is I'm renting
There's
this
no one around the ground, so I think I'll search
crazy
upstairs.
house.
I'll go up too. I'm going to bed.
Certainly I don't have
I'm
any
resigning from your
schemes or
cab. You
plans.
playwrights are all screwy.
I take it that this
They're just
ends
vibing in the
second
next
act.
room.
Now, if you don't mind me saying so, I think your play is rotten.
Wow.
Well spoken, Erskine. Forget
Posted
about
up in
being
the corner,
fired.
smoking
Let's go
one.
to bed.
Yes, go to bed, Mr. Wood, and get some sleep. You insist the
let
play is
other
still
people
on,
come to
but
you.
we tried to tell you that it
Yeah.
ended in a tragedy.
That's right. Power move. Never walk around. Make them come to you and say, hey.
Until you get drunk
Let us
enough to
know if
walk
anyone else
around,
is
and
murdered.
then you're good.
I can't convince those fools. They insist we're still playing for their benefit.
Oh, I wish we were out of this dreadful house. First it was Terry pestering me, and now this awful tragedy of tonight.
Don't worry, dear. You look all worn out. You get some sleep, and I'll see that nothing disturbs you.
Oh, I'm too frightened to sleep. Tell me the truth. Who do you think could have killed Beatrice, and where do you think she could be?
Who do you
Well,
think killed?
Personally, I believe it was just a burglar who's long since disappeared.
It'd be too easy. This movie's been, the story's been
Cover up
pretty
the
wild
crime, I
for it to be
suppose. Now you go to bed, dear.
He is cool as a cucumber. He is totally unaffected that there was somebody's murdered.
There's a
in this
perfectly
house.
logical
No, it's
explanation.
probably just a burglar. They're probably fine.
What is it?
We're fine.
Oh my god.
You poor kid.
Yeah,
These
Your
things
nerves
happen
have
all the
completely gone.
time.
Now check another box. We got the bookcase. We got another Scooby-Doo device in the...
Alright, if they all go running down the hallway, running through different doors and coming out other doors, I'm just gonna turn it off and go to bed.
It's gonna happen. You know it's gonna happen. They're saving it for the third act. Oh, yes! Yeah, we got
what?
this too.
This
Oh.
is
What the fuck?
interesting.
Yo, I would sleep so good if my bed did that.
If your bed just sealed you in.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
I slept like a pancake.
Wouldn't even wake up.
Oh, it's you.
He
ought to pull
said,
the trigger.
waving a gun around.
Come on, snap out of it. What is it?
Mr. Wood, maybe we're wrong. Maybe this isn't the play
What
we're witnessing
American
after
just
all.
sleeps with a gun right there?
Yes, but I didn't see anything in it about the
keeps
top of
that
my
snake
bed coming down and smothering me, just like a snake
Sleep with
under
this baby under my pillow.
Oh, nonsense. You've had too many
It's got the
cocktails.
gun in the night.
Besides, I wouldn't be lucky enough to celebrate your demise by
He
violence.
did look like
That's a
Churchill.
fine way
with
for you
the-
to talk to me.
the
Me, who's been
eyeglass.
everything to you but a mother. Now, Mr. Wood, listen to reason. I may be all wrong. I'm a nervous man by nature. But if this play is still going on, it's the closest thing to reality I ever saw behind the footlights.
Oh, you're a sissy. I tell you, the fellow Angels
ARG.
has reality in this play, and that's what the public wants. Now, let me alone. And if you want to stay in the theatrical business, stop letting it scare you.
I love it. They're just convincing
I was
themselves this is
kidding all
part of
the
the
time.
play.
Right,
That dead
yeah.
bracket
Even
was
though there's
only
a
dream
cop
I
there
had.
looking
And
around.
you were in it, too.
I was not.
It's an
I was
interactive
reading.
experience.
Yes, I saw that. You were reading a book on psychics. You were worried about
It's
the
actually a pretty good
yourself.
pitch.
Say, go home and go to bed, will you, please? And if you want to think of the future, remember I'm firing you.
Mr. Wood, I have a premonition that we must stick together tonight. You need protection.
You mean you do? You're trying to muscle into my bed because you're frightened. Go home.
Oh, my dear employer, play or no play, I have no relish for my own couch. Move over.
Say, this is all Tommy rot. You've got the mind of an
Tommy
oyster and the nerve of an actor.
Tommy rot.
Sounds like a really
As
bad
my
disease.
secretary, I do allow you to share my office, but that does not include my bed. Hey, you were born in October, weren't you?
Yes, during the National Apple Week. Why?
National
It
Apple
says
Week.
here, your type is the instincts of a bloodhound, the heritage of the homing pigeon, the attributes of the ferret, and the heart of a lion. Yet you snuggle beneath my quilts, you cream puff, because of make-believe players scaring you. You're fired once and for all.
Will you please close my mouth if I'm snoring? I have adenoids.
I have adenoids. I feel like I've heard that one.
Homing pigeon, ferret, lion. I'm sleeping in a zoo.
All right, where's the next eyeball popping out from? Where's the under the bed, over the bed? Is the whole room gonna start coming in on itself?
Uh-oh.
Yeah, the walls will start pushing in.
All right. Not as quite as creepy.
Harry,
I was worried about you. Up here, all alone.
I'm all right.
Listen, Gloria. You know I love you. Why do you always...
The
give me
play's
the phone
over.
call?
Why are we? I'm not.
I'm just
We're not
interested,
rehearsing the
Harry.
scene again.
Why did you come here? It makes it very embarrassing.
Oh, I know. You're afraid your playwright sweetheart would be jealous if he knew I was here. Well, I wish he could see you now. I just came in to say goodbye. I'm walking out on this play, but I got a curtain speech to make.
But they think they're
And
still doing the play
this is
even though
it.
there's a dead body.
Everybody's
No,
gonna
Harry.
Ah!
What is it with these people?
Oh God,
That's
no.
is that a yikes?
A yikes.
Should
Yeah,
I?
it's a
I
yikes.
should.
Yeah,
I'm
it
a
is a
little late
fucking
on it,
yikes,
but yeah,
yeah.
that's yikes.
Gloria! Gloria!
And yes, there's a whole thing in the motion picture code about rape. I haven't read that,
The
but
code has a whole section on yikes.
pretty much.
But darling,
The yikes section.
I saw a man.
Any prudish thing like that I give a yikes for, like I was accused of for editing the trailers whenever there's just copious nudity. That's that's just my code.
You take it easy. I'll find the guards and we'll search the house
Instincts
again.
that I can't shake off.
What happened? We heard screams. Someone tried to break into Gloria's room. What? Who? I don't know. Here comes the guard.
Seen anything?
Plenty. Gloria was almost attacked by someone.
Fancy that. Who do you think it was? We don't know.
Oh my
We'll wake up
God.
everybody and find out.
Good idea. Let's
Who was it? It was him. Where is he? He's right there.
Hey.
Oh, okay. He's in his uniform. I thought he was wearing pajamas.
Not a sign of him. Whose room is this? Well, that's mine. And there's Erskine's room, and that's Mr. Woods. Well, let's see what they know.
Pajamas, but he keeps the hat on.
So you know he's a police officer.
I'm sleeping, but I'm still a cop.
I wonder if that maniac could have tried Woods' room
Still
before
on
my
duty.
mind snapped still. Hey? Oh. Hey, you two.
Get out of here. My office hours are from 10 to 4.
Seen anything strange in here?
Yes, here's an
Is it against the
exhibit ought to be in
code
a
to have
museum.
two men in a bed?
What are you doing
We'll
in here?
touch on that at this.
I was sleeping. Is the
We'll
play
get to
on again?
No.
Wasn't the code
We're just
created by the
having a
Catholic
roll
Church?
call.
So probably not, right?
Consider us
Well, it would have to
absent.
be a man and a boy.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, I think they're both grown, so it's probably forbidden.
Terry, come out.
Right. I think it's pretty safe to say. Forbidden.
It's forbidden.
What, again?
That's how much they don't want you to do it.
I might as well be a fireman.
Of course, we haven't missed the break, have we?
It's Terry. He was standing right in that closet. He's disappeared.
Well, what was Terry doing in your closet?
He was hiding.
From whom?
Why,
Oh, pardon me.
Oh, no, please let me explain.
It isn't necessary. I think I understand.
Gerabo.
I'd sooner trust a lunatic than I would a witness. They're more reliable.
It's coming up.
Gotcha.
Strange how anyone could disappear from behind a nightgown.
You couldn't from behind my cousin's. She weighs 250.
Are you winking at me again?
Great burn on your cousin.
Let's sit down and get a drink. This isn't a horror play.
Yeah, it's not funny. We don't know who your cousin is.
And that is gonna take us to our second break. So yeah, those jokes were pretty ridiculous. But that's I mean, we're due for some levity, right? I mean, this guy's just disappeared. We got one dead body that's unaccounted for.
We got a maniac in the mix.
A maniac on the loose. Torture bed almost killed a guy. I mean, you name it. I mean, that's been really... I'm surprised how many boxes it's been ticking as far as just these murder mystery old dark house tropes. It's actually, but that's the point, right? Because it's all about a play.
It's about a play. It's meta.
It's meta, which again, it's surprising how many of these old 30s movies like have meta plots, and this is actually doing a lot to try to kind of keep it interesting. I think I'm pretty surprised so far, honestly. Yeah, I mean, not a lot of ghost walking, but I guess we already got
not too many ghosts.
Guess
tonight.
we kind of already got the point of the title,
right?
So
yeah, I wasn't expecting that, to be honest.
Yeah, it's kind of blew the. Wait, what is it? There's a. I feel like there's some kind of euphemism in which you use the word ghost for that. Not euphemism, colloquialism.
We gave up the ghost.
Gave up the ghost. Yes, they gave up the. Thank you, Evan. If we didn't use that this whole episode, then we really would have
used that. We said it. All right.
Oh, you did. Well, you probably did. Yeah. Well, yeah, I'm not on my ghost puns. Evans.
I think Evan needs to run the show. Dude.
Yeah, Evan's got the puns. All he needs is some makeup. I don't have the puns. I have no makeup. It's not, the horror host traditions. Evans, it's effortless.
Garrett, are you saying you're a little off your game today because you're not wearing makeup?
Yes, that's exactly what it is. I didn't put on my makeup, and now I'm just.
Nobody look at me.
Nobody look. Yeah.
I couldn't tell for the record. So.
Oh, okay, great. No, terrific.
Yeah. You're glowing, Garrett.
Yes. Well, it's all natural. Okay, so we are 2/3 of the way through this, and it's definitely everything in the kitchen sink so far. But I mean, I feel like, as we just saw that last little bit, you guys are like, what are the rules with the code when you've got two men in a bed together? And, they don't go quite over that exact scenario, but like, it is interesting to bring up, like, how
it's not considered obscene.
Well, yeah, like
indecent.
Basically, yeah, you're 100% right. Their exact words for it were, let's see,
this is gonna be good.
Yeah, it's bad. So it's very simple. Like, so when it comes to like homosexuality in these films, like before the code, you had men kiss, women kiss, like it had been represented in films up to this point. But when the code came out, it said, this is all it says. Under one tenet, it says, sex perversion or any inference to it is forbidden. That was their terminology for it. Wow. Sex perversion. And that was a broad umbrella.
That's broad.
That was a very broad umbrella to include.
It's another, it's like we said, obscene. These are all like extremely subjective.
It's extremely subjective. And I don't know if it goes over that, like, you know, it had some other kind of explaining things in other parts. But that's like, that one line was basically understood to be no homosexual characters.
It's the polite way of saying that.
Basically, that homosexuality is a sin. It's a perversion. Don't show it in your films. Because they're basically, everything that they think is bad, if you're not showing why it's bad, don't show it. That was basically their rules. And so like, basically, queer characters, it became coded. You couldn't do it explicitly, but you could do it implicitly. So it's a lot of this was even going on before the code. And we're seeing it tonight with this secretary character.
It's
right?
okay if it's the butt of the joke.
That's basically, well, it wasn't though once the code really kicked in. This was a stereotype that's a holdover from other pre-code films where, and these are the words at the time that they would use to describe these kind of characters. It's, you know, like he said tonight, you heard the guy say cream puff, and you heard him say, you know, it's things like that, fussy, pansy, prissy, like they all have all these kind of words. It's basically effeminate characters with kind of like more stereotypical kind of like, you know, jobs that were usually occupied by women at the time. So we have a male secretary tonight, and he's very like, you know, kind of over the top. It's that was like their way of you know, again, it's just a joke. But once the code came in, you couldn't even joke. It was like, it's either they're a bad character, they're a villain, and they're like, and it's because of their homosexuality, or they're what is it? Or they're, let's see, they're either a villain or they're a victim, but they have to be punished. Like they have to, like that's basically was their stance on it. Like, sheesh. If you're presenting it, you can't explicitly say it, and they have to, you know, they can't be treated like normal people, basically. Yeah, it is brutal. And so that's the two trailers that we're going to see at the break. The first trailer, we're not going to really see the representation that you'll see in the movie, but it's Bride of Frankenstein. And that whole movie, there's a character named Dr. Pretorius, who 100% is what they would call a queer-coded villain. They're not saying that he's gay, but he is. And the director of Frankenstein, of Bride of Frankenstein, was a gay man, and he, you know, he hired this actor in other roles to kind of play a very over-the-top personality. And Dr. Pretorius is very over-the-top, but he's technically a villain, but he's fun. He's the most fun character in the movie. The code actually made them tone Dr. Frankenstein down. He couldn't have a god complex anymore. So he's more like conciliatory, more like, oh, maybe I shouldn't be doing this. I don't, which actually kind of works for the character, that he's got more conflict. Like, he's not just a mad scientist. He's like, oh, maybe I should learn my lesson from the last time that I did this. Maybe like I shouldn't be making a bride. Whereas Dr. Pretorius is like,
I'm feeling the sudden impulse to pray.
Yeah, I mean, basically, it's that's why like a lot of the behind the scenes, like they had to work with the production code administration like during the scripting phase. Like James Well, they were focusing on very specific lines. They were focusing on of dialogue. They were focusing on things that were going on. And James Whale was like on purpose trying to push the code. And so that's why he does things like has this Dr. Pretorius character and kind of makes him very like Dr. Pretorius creates life before he even meets Dr. Frankenstein. He makes all these little people in jars, and he's got like a queen and a king and an archbishop who's trying to like prevent them from like trying to kiss, and like, which I felt like is kind of like them making fun of the code. Like that's the thing.
That's funny. An archbishop.
Yeah, which again, you're not supposed to be making fun of, and I don't think that's technically deliberately making fun. It's very like, it's very much kind of like almost commentary in a way. But but we won't really see much of Dr. Pretorius in this trailer, unfortunately. You'll see him, but you're not going to hear any lines from him. But he's like when the Bride of Frankenstein is brought to life, you know, that's his biggest moment. But it's great. And then the second trailer is kind of more the villain approach. It's for an Alfred Hitchcock movie called Rope, which is, if you've ever heard of the Leopold and Loeb case, that was one of the trials of the century in the 20th century. And so Hitchcock made a movie kind of based off of it. Yeah, it's, you know, that was basically the two characters debate in this movie Fresh. They're murdering a guy and they're like, gonna rope. And
Gunner fucking rope.
Gunner rope. And you know, I don't know. The Leopold and Loeb case is complex. I don't know if those two explicitly were in a relationship, but every movie, anything that was ever based on it was like these two guys were in a relationship. And so that's what Hitchcock, like this whole movie is a very coded, like he tried to slip as many references to these guys being in a relationship as he could without arousing the code's suspicion. So, but there's references to them like sharing a bedroom and all these things, but they're villains. They kill a guy. They're not, you know, that was what the code basically, if you were going to show it, it was you're relegated to villain status.
You might as well sin more.
Yeah.
I'm starting to think, hearing all of these oppressive rules, that maybe the Catholic Church sucks.
Yeah. Doesn't sound like they're very nice people, does it? All these rules that the Catholic Church is trying to make to keep our kids safe. It sounds like they're just really teaching people to be prejudiced, doesn't it? Reinforcing prejudices that have existed for decades and that we still haven't been able to shake off. Who would have guessed? It all started with the Catholic Church and this little thing called the Hays Code.
Was the code like legal, or could you just make a movie and not adhere to the code?
So the smaller independent, again, like we're watching a Poverty Row movie tonight. Poverty Row could kind of push a little more than the bigger studios did, but they still, if they were going to show in big theaters, they had to kind of stay within the bounds. But you like, remember that trailer we saw at the pre-roll Maniac that was made by the same people who did Reefer Madness? Like that and Reefer Madness existed on the exploitation circuit roadshow, where it's just one person taking the film from town to town to town, and you're not beholden to the like national censorship. You're not beholden to the like body because you're showing in these smaller theaters. And they're also saying, well, this is a educational film, or this is a, you know, they find some other way to, this is a morals film, and they find some way to play it off.
So it was more like an industry thing than like a legal thing.
Yeah, it was very much mostly the big studios.
But they could fine you.
But they could fine you. But I think
that doesn't make any sense to me. It's so weird.
They just send you an invoice in the mail, and then everybody just ends up paying it.
I mean,
it's not a real fine.
It's just how we did it back then.
Again, there's very much like with the studio system. I mean, that's why you have Poverty Row. There's a hierarchy of studios, and I mean, you've got the big Hollywood. I mean, again, like Universal wasn't even considered in the top tier of studios back in the day. Like Universal was the B level, and then Poverty Row was like, you know, right under. Like Universal, like it wasn't even big. Like their monster movies were not, you know, it was
What
like,
was A-level?
so A-level was Paramount, MGM, RKO, Fox, and United Artists. I might be Disney later, kind of later. I don't know. Disney was kind of weird. But yeah, I mean, but those studios also owned their own theaters. So that was also why they were kind of like more subjected to the code, because because they own the theaters. If they're making a bunch of movies, putting them in their own theaters, if they weren't abiding by the code, that's a lot of material that is just not regulated. Like one independent guy making one movie, he doesn't own a whole chain of theaters. He's not going to be able to put something in thousands of theaters to, you know, to brainwash the masses, which is what the Catholics were terrified of. It was very much like these studios.
Yeah, they were afraid of someone else brainwashing the masses.
Right. Yeah, certainly they're not.
They wanted job security in that front.
This all feels very familiar. Is there anything in that code about drag shows?
You know, again, that might fit under the all the dress code that they have in there. It's just ridiculous that there's even a dress code in the.
You know what's weird is that if you tried to go against the code, the Catholic Church would destroy a power substation in the neighborhood where you premiered the film.
Right. You think you're going to premiere your film? You think again. We're taking you down. Yeah. Too bad the FBI. J. Edgar Hoover was too busy, you know, putting on his own dresses to actually, you know, deal with that. So that's, you know, that's a whole other thing. J. Edgar Hoover, FBI, boo.
We love the FBI.
Yeah, well,
for the record.
But we're gonna get these two trailers, Bride of Frankenstein and Rope, and then when we come back, we're gonna get into the exciting conclusion of the Ghost Walks. So stick around. We'll be right back.
I just think we ought to wait till after you graduate.
I don't.
It's only a month.
Janet, a month.
Please.
It's all right. I personally consider us engaged as of now. Congratulations.
David, no.
Look, you can say yes in a taxi. I have a 2:30 appointment.
I'm staying right here.
Oh, afraid you'll say yes?
I'll see you tonight at Brandon's party.
Okay. You can say yes, sir, just as well as in a taxi. Goodbye, darling.
Bye.
That's the last time she ever saw him alive. And that's the last time you'll ever see him alive. What happened to David Kentley changed my life completely, and the lives of 7 others. Janet Walker, Henry Kentley, the boy's father, his aunt, Mrs. Atwater, his best friend, Kenneth Lawrence, a housekeeper named Mrs. Wilson, and the two who were responsible for everything, Brandon Shaw and Philip Morgan.
Mouse, cat and mouse. Philip. Which is the cat and which is the mouse?
Enough of that.
He's got it. He knows. He knows. He knows.
All right.
He knows.
Easy. I'll take care
No,
of
you won't. I'd just as soon kill you as kill him.
Backdrop.
It looks like a late night talk show.
Yeah, it is like a cityscape that they like. That was the actual set. Was like it all looked like that back there, but it's just it's just a matte paint. It's just no, not a matte painting. It's like it's a fucking. I don't even know what they call it. It's a canvas. It's just like a
Like a backdrop.
Backdrop. Thank you, Evan. Yes.
Got the words tonight.
Yeah, so you are the man.
We're not
of the
wording
word.
very well tonight.
I'm not. I'm certainly not.
I'm not either.
Is this words with friends?
This is words. If this is words with friends, then I'm playing terribly.
I literally said that's a lot of HIPAA violations that they're violating right now earlier. So I think we're all having problems with words tonight.
It's fine. That's 2023 for you. But yeah, so that was, that was the trailers obviously don't show you very much, but pretty much until the 60s, 70s, that was really when they finally started to break out of the stereotypical queer-coded characters and started showing like actual just normal queer characters. And it's, they don't have a problem, and they're not a villain, and they're not a victim, and it's fine, But that was the thing, is that the code taught like this is good and this is bad, and good is rewarded and bad is punished, and it was that strict. And so the code basically lasted until the mid 60s, and it totally broke down in the late 60s, and really, it was all started because of the Catholic organization that boycotted movies. But guess what? There was actually a report done that they kept secret that showed that whenever they boycotted a movie, what happened?
The Streisand effect happened, and everyone went to see it.
Everybody went to see the movies that they decreed but were bad, that you shouldn't go see. They that was why Hollywood caved to the pressure and adopted this code in the first place, was because they were afraid of the opposite. They were basically made to believe that all of these boycotts were going to be a detriment to the film industry. Like, it was going to really hurt them at the box office, and it was going to kill the industry. And that was going to allow like censorship to come in. Like, that was going to allow like national censorship, government censorship to come in. So they said, well, we better just nip this in the bud and just try to rein it in.
We wouldn't want to be censored, so we better censor ourselves.
Yeah, no, that was exactly what their thinking basically was. Like, we don't want to be censored, so let's censor ourselves. So that,
beat them to the punch.
Yeah, and it's still around to this day. Like, the MPA, which was the MPAA, which was the MPDA, whatever it was back when it was founded, Motion Picture Producers and Distributors of America.
I thought it was Motion Pictures with Attitude.
Yeah, actually, that would be if they were approving the movies. I bet their code is pretty lax, so I would enjoy. I'd like to see that rating system. But yeah, I mean, it eventually, it obviously, again, people were making fun of it until it got rigidly enforced. Like for 4 years, people were just like, studios were trying, but they're like, this is over the top. This is prudish. This is like that's legit what they were like. People were saying about the code, and then just once the Catholics threatened to start boycotting movies, they changed their tune so fast, and now culture is irrevocably. I couldn't imagine what the world would be like today if pre-code movies, if that track had just continued on.
The movie industry would be dead.
It would be something entirely bizarre
Nobody would
and
watch
different.
movies.
It wouldn't be it wouldn't just, like, I think there was some preservation in the code kind of allowing classic Hollywood to become the thing that it did and kind of be this very specific subset of movies. Because they were all guided by this code, all the big studio movies for the most part. So, yeah, I mean, it's just kind of, we haven't really dove into the code. So, figure tonight was as good a time as any. Beginning of the code, you get a little, a little bit of, you see how the code was at work even in a movie like this. So, we're about to get into the exciting conclusion of the Ghost Walks. What do we think? I mean, who do we think the murderer is? I think we're going to all be pretty upset if it's this maniac that's been running around that we haven't seen the whole movie. I think that would be pretty
It's the
frustrating.
character we haven't seen yet.
The character that you haven't seen, but you have heard about. Oh, guess what? He's going to make an appearance at the end. Shocking.
I think there's a ghost killing everybody.
I hope so, man. I'd love.
That would deliver on the title.
Yeah.
That would be ideal.
I think the maniac is nowhere in the house. That's my guess.
Oh, yeah, we caught him down at the local schoolhouse,
Which is weird to me that a maniac escaped and they're canvassing the area. And this cop is spending like 24 hours at this one house for some reason.
Okay, do you want to hear my legit guess, and I'm going to be mad if I'm right? Because I haven't seen this before. Is the cop the maniac?
I was gonna say
Is
the
that
same
what you were
thing.
gonna say too?
Yeah.
The cop is the maniac.
Yeah, I hope not.
You think so? If he's the maniac, do you think he's the one killing everybody?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Although honestly, it's looked
What's
like
so
a
bad?
woman's eye through the peephole. So what if it's that lady?
Oh, you think Beatrice faked her death and then she got up?
No, not Beatrice. Although that's some Mr. Body shit right there. That's
Yeah, that is
100%
Clue.
that's just Clue, Evan. You're just reciting the plot to Clue. No. The lady that was just getting accosted by that guy. We got our first yikes.
Yeah, the lady
on it.
that has refused to marry this guy 7 times in the course of 30 minutes.
I feel like I could see her finally knocking him off, like having enough of being fondled and put upon, jostled by this man that she has no interest in whatsoever. So there's certainly some suspects.
So Evan thinks that it's Clue, and you think it's an episode of Snapped. Got it.
Right. That's right. 100%.
Well, let's see who's right.
Let's see who's right. Fresh, if you have it queued up.
Yes, sir.
All right, then we're going to get into the exciting conclusion of the Ghost Walks right now.
Fair to me. You people are of very little help. That patient of mine is evaporating.
You people suck. You should be doing my job for me.
Besides, I promised to be a fourth of bridge tonight with some friends of mine.
Speaking of wasting time, Jarvis should have been back in town with the police long ago. Oh, Caraway. Will you and Kent go back upstairs, please? Just to be near Gloria. I couldn't stand seeing her myself just now, but I
They
don't want
still
to
think
expose
it's
her to
fake?
unnecessary danger. I understand.
I think they do, man. These guys are really
Just as soon go up again anyway.
dumb.
They're really
I'm
deep in
dead.
the Matrix,
Please
huh?
don't use that word.
I don't like that fella terribly.
Oh, forget it. He's just a seedy butler.
Well, I feel duty bound to see this night through.
I guess that's the
Live
joke.
and all that,
Yeah.
but I'm
Lost
beginning
in
to reach the breaking
translation.
Lost
point.
to the 30s.
What did they say?
Out of
A
hand.
seedy butler.
I think they're saying
Seems to
like
me you're about as useless a
he's a
guard as
trope.
I've ever seen.
like he's the seedy
I've worked in
butler
2 penitentiaries and 3
because
asylums.
they think it's a play.
Never had any complaints.
I can see that.
Best
Yeah, that
actor of the bunch. So, boys, I'm going to retire from now for the second time tonight. Aim.
He's dripped up. Dude. Look at that.
He
robe.
really
Look at that
is,
coat.
man. I swear, the
Serves me
fashion
for
of
the finale.
these movies
Can
for
I
people.
say-
Sleep well.
Yeah.
Please continue. I never walk out on
Sleeping
anything
comfortably,
that doesn't cost
man.
me something.
What does he mean?
Oh, these fools think we're putting on a play for their benefit.
I'm hungry.
I could destroy a few vitamins myself.
Well, you'll find some food in the kitchen. I'll be
Quit
waiting for you
breaking
here.
character. Now get back to the play.
Yeah, your performance has really been lacking in this last act.
I like the part of the play where you say they think we're putting on a play.
Well, that's how I loved how they acknowledged at one point they think we're still putting on a play, and they just don't. They're just like give up on trying to explain it to them. I can appreciate that Frank Strayer is trying to move the camera a little more here than he was in The Monster Walks, because this is much better than The Monster Walks, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I mean, and that even had a killer ape in it. Well, I don't know if it killed anybody, but there was an ape.
It could have been a killer ape independent of the movie.
Yeah, maybe like before the movie started.
Maybe it has a backstory.
Well, I guess one of my guesses is wrong. It's not the lady.
Okay.
Wait, oh, I see. Because she would have to be sneaking in the room on herself.
Right.
I literally almost asked you, how do you know that?
She could have been wearing a black glove on one hand.
She was throwing her voice across the room.
She's good.
Yeah, she's really good. She was throwing her voice across the room so hard that she was opening the door on the other side of the room.
What are you doing down here?
Why, I just came down to get some cigarettes.
You shouldn't have left Gloria upstairs alone.
Well, I'm not her
Came down
guardian.
here to bum a
If
cig.
you're so anxious about her, why don't you
bum
go
ciggy,
upstairs and
bro.
play watchman yourself?
This
That's
is
just what we're both going to do.
Well, the thing should. So do I.
this is just like after a house party right now.
Pretty much.
I
The
came downstairs
stragglers.
to like bum a cig, dude.
Oh, have you seen Jessica, bro?
Gloria!
Oh, no, man. I haven't seen her.
I think she left. Left?
I smell chloroform.
I smell chloroform. All right.
This is all your fault. I told you not to leave her alone. We'll arouse everyone.
Some famous last words.
Yeah. I smell.
Maybe,
Is it I smell chloroform or I
I
smell
couldn't hear you, but
chloroform?
here comes Kent now.
Okay.
He's so excited about that.
Yeah, I know. I
no,
mean,
no
Gloria
suspicion at the guy who
disappeared.
knows what chloroform smells like.
Say, have you been out in the rain?
No, why?
Well, whoever stole Gloria
Just
took
take
her
a
out of the
shot.
window into the rain. Funny that you should be out of your room and then appear all wet.
I don't like your insinuations, Mr. Ames. If you must know, I couldn't sleep. I was going to take a bath in the tub and turned on the shower by mistake.
That's
I'm
what I would
feeling
call a
nervous. Feel I
watertight
take a
alibi.
bath.
Maybe Mr. Wood knows something.
But I have a bath, I suppose.
That's what I do when I'm feeling on edge.
I'd
Better
have
go
more
home,
privacy
bath,
in a
I
convention
suppose.
hall.
Yeah, so feeling a little on
Comment.
edge, man. Gonna take a little bath and soak.
That's something for my nerves.
Mr. Woods and
That's
gentlemen,
some Psylar
Have you
logic
seen
right
Gloria?
Take a bath and
She
soak.
doesn't seem to be here. Why?
Better go wash my
Gloria has
ass.
been
I'm feeling a
kidnapped.
little on edge.
I say, that's beastly rude of you.
They accused me, but I think Teddy's the guilty one. He's gone, too.
They've got to search the whole place over again. Get up and see the sun. It's better than looking for a good candidate
Oh
before
my
an election.
god, dude.
Not me. I'm staying right here. Now, if they don't stop this pool play and get out of here, I will
See,
rid the
but
world
he's
of
doing
you
it
by
right.
a cat.
Oh,
no, my-
Frank Reynolds is in the
You're the
house.
next victim.
Where's the
So
goddamn
anyway.
fire? Oh, I love that.
I love how he didn't have to pick it up because it was already in his hand.
I only wanted to say
He had
that
it
you're
the
right,
whole
as
time.
you.
He's ready to go.
The
He's under
play
the
is
covers.
still going
He's
on.
aiming it at whoever's
I know
pissing
the
him
theater
off the
like
most in
Barnum
that
knew his
moment.
elephant. But I'm not crossing you, Erskine. In fact, I'm going to raise your salary.
Thanks. People don't disappear every 5 minutes in real life.
Unfortunately, some don't. I'd like to get some sleep.
But the play.
Earn some of the money that I pay you by watching it for me.
Why, I thought you fired me.
Not till we get back to town. No. Shut up and get up.
Guard! Guard!
Guard.
What do you want? Fine, help you are. Gloria's been stolen. You're standing around here eating chicken.
Well, one was seen occasionally. What makes you think the lady was stolen? Well, an adequate way to acquire a woman, isn't it?
Oh, shut up. Her window was open. She must have been taken out of the house.
Just
I'm going to search the ground.
continuing to
I'm
eat
with you, Wayne.
chicken.
Just standing around. Where did he get the chicken?
Hey, you.
I
Come
love
here.
this.
Where's your friend?
If you mean my honored employer.
Is that a gun or
he's
the chicken?
upstairs
No,
in
it's the
bed.
I think I'll go out and look him over. There's something queer about you both.
Well, welcome to our
He
fun new
winks at you and you
game,
wink at
gun
me.
or chicken.
And I don't like it.
He's gesturing with the chicken. I'm going back upstairs.
No!
What?
That's
This
some
is
silent
after a
logic
house
too.
party.
That's what you
This-
just put it away.
You
somewhere.
make a careful
Out of
drag to
sight,
the
out
ground.
of mind.
You go that way,
The
now go
nearest
this.
Saving this for later.
receptacle could be any
Right.
carpet or cushion or piece of fabric.
It's okay. No one will ever.
Oh, come on. You better pull your gat out. Oh, it's
He's got it. He's got it. He's got it.
Oh, he does.
Just
He didn't even, his like hand was, he was sleeping with his arm up in that position.
sleeping
Everybody
with a
else
gun in
does.
his hand.
Angled at the door.
Hey, look here, old man. Pal to pal. You're not really an asylum guard, are you?
No. How did you get it?
Yeah. You can't fool an old timer. You know, you're wasting your talents here.
Uh-oh.
You're too good for this stuff.
The whole world
no.
knows that.
I said good, not perfect. Like that play. You know, I've been thinking that over. It's mighty darn gripping.
I think it's pathetically bad. I'll have no part in it.
Are you under contract to Ames?
Me?
You guys are right.
I should say not. But I'm ready for a presentation now that will astound the world.
I believe you are. I'll bet you'd be a sensation and a good part. And I'm going to give it to you. Herman Wood, the man who has given more stars to Broadway than Edison has electric lights, will star you personally in an extravaganza.
Splendid, splendid.
Oh, are you busy Thursday?
Let me see. No, I have nothing planned.
Good. Come to my office next Thursday and we'll sign a contract.
Splendid. But you should see me work first.
Well, what are you doing now?
Wasting time talking to you. Come with me, and I will show you real dramatics.
Are you kidding?
I never joke. I will show you drama. Start.
Drama.
Loving drama.
We gotta start saying it like
A master touch of comedy.
By golly, I'm with you. Just wait till I get my slippers.
that.
Don't forget, Thursday. Come.
What?
Yeah, guys. Thursday.
That's a power move.
I'd feel a lot safer if I had my gun.
Where is it?
Home.
That's okay with me. Let's go over to your house and hang around.
It'll soon be daylight. Thank heaven. James. Anything new?
We made a complete search of the grounds and found nothing.
Well, how much longer is this going on? I'm getting tired of sitting around here and waiting for something that doesn't happen.
Yes.
I love that painting.
It's alive! It winged!
What's the matter with him? He must be balmy.
God, this is Clue.
It really is, man. People just coming to the door. Is this a real cop?
Charles, what happened to you? Remember when I left the house to get the car and the cops? Yes. Well, that nuthouse guard leaves me at the garage. Then just as I'm getting into the car, somebody slugged me with a lead pipe.
What was the idea?
Yeah,
well,
you're right,
didn't want
Clue.
him to get
Lead
away.
pipe.
And that someone is probably the escape nut that we're looking for.
How many of you are searching for him? There's already been a guard here tonight.
Well, there's possibly half a dozen of us, but believe you and I'll find him. Yeah, this guy disappears every so often, but we always spot him in this neighborhood.
I see.
What?
Well, after you were hit on the head, why did you come back to the house?
I figured getting the police was the wisest move to make. I've been knocked out.
I don't even know what to
and
say
tied in the
about
garage.
that.
But I broke the ropes. Then
This guy
started to
gets
start
loose
the car.
around here all the time.
But I found out someone had gummed up the motor.
Yeah, he gets out. We haven't patched
I
the
began
fence
to
yet.
move it into the village when these
Don't
guards from
worry
the sanitarium
about
picked
it.
me up, and here we are. Has anything happened since I left?
Yes, Gloria's been kidnapped and Terry's disappeared.
And now that Erskine person's gone violent.
Oh, yeah? Well, I'll handle that.
Help! Help! What's the matter? Mr. Wood is gone. What? I said he's gone, and so is the guard. Is that take care of this joint?
So this guard just knows the intricate
Oh, what's the matter
passageways
with
of this house.
His eyes moved. It glared at me.
Why, it's as solid as the wall.
You're dead.
He said he's not a
Those
guard.
eyes never stared out of nothing but a paint pot.
I mean,
I
this
think
is just some
someone
random
looked out at
country
that
house that's
cave.
being rented for the
Okay,
weekend.
brother, we'll
It's
soon find out
conceivable
who's
if he
knocked
breaks
around,
out
man.
all the time he's hanging out in this house. Yeah, I'm sure that's how he gets in and out of this painting every time. Like a
Yeah, we don't know
Hollywood
why we didn't
stunt
see him.
man just
Hey, he's right. His eyes are phony.
What I tell you? Now who's that?
Hey, there's a passageway back to this.
A passage?
Ooh.
It's moving.
I want a house like this, dude. This
That's a
is sick.
huge door.
That is a huge secret passage. If you got to move a lot of furniture in and out, it's probably good to have
Well,
like
I'm
a
going
really
to find out where it
high.
leads to.
I'll go with you. Be careful. It looks dangerous.
Yep, everybody file in. Oh my god. Holy shit.
Yeesh.
He's got
Nice.
him lined up.
Yeah, we wondered why the house was 8,000 square feet, only 4,000 was usable.
He's
Years
just
ago,
barbarian.
a famous person lived, worked, and studied here. His name was Guthrie Gillett. He is dead now. But I, Professor Elmer Twittery,
He's wearing it backwards.
carry on
His-
and
his-
continue his work.
Hey, I don't like these underground places.
Well, you may as well get used to it. You may spend a lot of time in one.
Why, the whole house must be honeycombed with passages. They lead all directions.
They lead all directions. Should leave some
I am
breadcrumbs.
the greatest genius you have ever seen. I have mastered my work. Work that has produced power almost divine.
I love all this.
I have become more than the greatest plastic surgeon in the world. I am the molder of mankind.
This was cut out, obviously. So that line was cut out.
Yeah.
The code, that's,
has allowed you
this
all
might have been
to
released
benefit
later,
upon the seclusion
and the code would have
that I
required that
have
to cut out.
enjoyed in a
If I,
supposedly
somebody, like,
deserted house.
the line in
I discovered
Frankenstein,
this old house at
Dr. Frankenstein
on
is
one
like,
of my
I know what
many
it feels like to
escapes
be
from
God.
this area.
Out.
It is admirably fitted for my work.
But it's been restored. Now that line's back in.
All I
Frankenstein,
needed
just like it
was
seems like that
paint.
was restored.
And
So that's
now
cool.
I have you, healthy people, who can stand the rigor of certain
This guy's like,
small
nice play.
operations.
He's like, I mean, this is really immersive. I appreciate like all the pageantry that you put into this, but I'm still, it's actually gonna be a no for me, dog.
Yeah, I'm kind of tired, man. Can I go back to bed?
See where that leads to.
The secret passage up.
Yeah, you
go first.
This patient you're looking for, is he violent?
Sometimes. He almost killed a guard tonight when he stole his uniform. Oh, and he winked at me.
Leads into an open room with a swinging bookcase. Then Gloria did see something in that study. We've got to find her before anything happens to her.
Well, what are we standing around for?
It seems to me this is the fluid I used to paralyze the mice with yesterday. I think I meant to use it on your friend Beatrice. But somehow I became somewhat confused. So now the poor girl is dead.
Okay.
Forgive my stupidity. I will be more careful to see that you don't suffer the accidental death she did.
Maniac is
I have
not
brought back the
gonna make
spark
a
of
good
life.
doctor.
I am colossal.
Oh, my head aches. Take that smelling salts away. You're choking me.
He just happened to grab the smelling salts.
I thought I killed you, but I only gave you a headache.
Play dead. Oh.
Oh no, actually you did kill me, see?
I'm
Then
dying.
just lay down.
It's just a reflex. I mean, secret passages? I mean, the way they're wandering through, that's cool. What is this?
Here's a lot of eyes I drew.
Looking at this chart, you will notice the various noses, eyes, and
Notice
teeth.
the noses.
You all have an ideal, a face you
Nose
enter.
tis.
You can have your choice of alteration. You understand. My operations run in series.
It's like, all right,
You may
you're
look
all here for plastic
like you weak
surgery.
now.
Who's up?
Utterly, I will slowly change you to fit my model. Young lady, you shall have the honor of being the first on my table. I shall require very little from any of you. Just enough to begin my work. A feature from you, a bone from him, and a cartilage from that one.
Just over here making some kind of...
A cartilage.
Yeah, a cartilage.
The guard.
Hey, this guy's a full-on maniac, man.
It's Professor Twiddly, the guy we're
I
looking
like this
for.
guy.
Then he's the nut. Well, he's
Professor...
dangerous. Let's get it.
Professor
Wait a minute.
Twiddly? What?
Better not get him excited. I know
Professor
how to handle
Twiddly
him.
fucking dumb, dude.
Hello, Professor. Why, Mr. McLeavy, what are you doing here?
Can't you see I'm busy?
Sure, but you've got to come home with us. It's important.
Home? Is there anything
Oh.
wrong?
Why, don't you remember? You operated on your old friend Julius Caesar a couple of days ago.
Did I know?
Julius
Funny, I
Caesar.
forgot. How'd it turn out?
Not so good. That's why we have to hurry back. You see, he got tired of his Roman nose, so you grafted on a new one. But you put it on upside down. And on rainy nights like this, the poor fellow can't go out for fear of drowning.
My.
Does he
return
put
at
his
once.
nose on upside
Poor Caesar
down?
must
Oh,
be
that's
miserable.
cute.
Seems like
He's
they
gonna
got
drown
this
if
story
his
down.
nose is upside down. It's raining.
Prescott, take me out of
They've
here.
had to
I
do
never
this a
wanna
few
see
times, it
another
sounds like.
play.
Well, don't worry, I'll never write
Yeah, they were.
They had that story ready to go.
Absolutely, but you've got to rewrite it. Just like this night and the experiences we've gone through.
Even to the murder of Beatrice?
Yes, I'm afraid Beatrice will have to die all over again.
Well, the ghost walks after all.
Ah, they said it again.
You were all right too, Caraway.
Thank you, Mr. Wood.
Now what's the matter with you?
I was just thinking how terrible it would have been had the professor really operated on us and changed us all. You might have gotten my adenoids, and I would have gotten your false teeth.
Erskine, turn your face to the setting sun.
Oh! What's the idea?
Don't forget, you're fired.
Oh, Mr. Wood.
Come.
Come to the train.
Let's go to New York. And that was The Ghost Walks. So, what do we think? I mean, I gotta be honest.
We called it.
We did call it, yeah. I mean, you know, but I will say overall, more than I expected, honestly.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
I mean, again, like, being that this was also directed by the same guy who made The Monster Walks, I was kind of dreading a very similar slow movie where there's not really a lot happening. They're just kind of slowly laying everything out. But this had a lot of, you know, it was doing a lot of plot twists within the first act. And then, you know, the humor was pretty, you know, at certain points it got very absurd. Like, to like a good... I mean, obviously, it makes more sense that an insane man would put a chicken leg under a carpet, but
that's true. That's true.
You know, but it was still seeing that, like, as you're watching everything go down, and then all of it, you're, what the fuck? I mean, I don't know. I was pleasantly, let's say I was very pleasantly surprised. What did you guys think?
This might be one of my favorites now.
Oh,
it's a good one. Yeah, I like this one.
Yeah,
I think it was just, especially for the 30s, dude. It was like all the irony going on everywhere was pretty good.
Yeah, a lot of good burns.
Yeah.
Yes, good burns.
I mean, tongues planted firmly in cheek. Again, like, they definitely knew I feel like the writer probably knew he was using all these tropes. The guy who wrote this also wrote the short story called The Waxworks, which became Mystery of the Wax Museum, which we've talked about, and House of Wax, which Vincent Price was in. It's all based on the same story. So this writer, like, obviously, you know, I mean, it's crazy that he wrote a pretty good short story. I haven't read the short story, but like the adaptations have all had some cool different things. So this was a movie that he wrote, and I'm like, oh, this guy must have actually been a pretty talented writer, because this is more here than, I think that's what it comes down to when, like, you compare something like this to The Monster Walks. It probably comes down to the writing, the script. I think this just had a really talented writer and a decent script for a Poverty Row murder mystery. I mean, mystery. There was no murder. Let's be clear on that, unfortunately. I think that's, you know, you can be disappointed in that front.
So wait, did we call that too?
What?
Wait, did Beatrice die?
No.
Okay.
She
So there was no murder.
No.
Yeah, nobody actually
died. Yeah, no. I was like gonna be like, well, somebody died 3 years ago, but that's all the play bullshit. I mean, that's the kind of you realize how intricate it actually is. Like, oh,
lines are getting blurred.
Yeah, it's, again, there's a little Inception Matrix. It's just a Russian nesting doll of a plot of like, all right, we're gonna put on this fake play for this producer, and then, oh, we think somebody's actually dead, and like, oh, the producer thinks we're still playing, and it's a lot, but it's I thought it was entertaining. So that's, you know, definitely a surprise. And, you know, again, I think there are definitely times where you could see the code kind of, again, it looked like there was a cut. So that's like a perfect example of the code. And this is the very beginning of it. And it lasted for about almost 30 years. And then it busted wide open, and horror movies especially were never the same. And that's going to take us to next week's film, which is, yes.
Were we cracking the code?
We are cracking the code way. I mean, not a lot, actually. I haven't seen this movie. We are, but it's definitely past code. We're watching a movie from 1973 called Don't Look in the Basement. And it's a, I don't know if you guys realize, it's a holiday next Friday. We thought we were at a holiday season, but guess what? We got one more we don't normally have every year at this time. Can you guys guess what it is?
We don't have every year.
Not at the same time every year. Let's say that.
It's a wandering leap year.
No.
Is it? I don't know.
Next Friday, the 13th.
Uh-oh.
It's Friday the 13th. So we got
Friday the 13th.
So like, I Don't Look in the Basement was not in our regular schedule, because it's Friday the 13th. I'm like, okay, we need to do something a little special. So I need to find something that maybe is a little more slashery, something color. I'm trying to kind of fit the mood. We can't show Friday the 13th for obvious reasons. That's got a whole copyright.
Not for a long time.
Not for a long time, and there's a whole copyright mess to the Friday the 13th properties that you can't even imagine. Like, that's a case of a writer and a producer splitting it up. So the writer has Jason Voorhees the child and the mother in the camp and all these things, and then the other producers have hockey mask, invincible serial killer Jason Voorhees, because that's how the rights work out. It's insane. It's a mess. It's a mess. But no, luckily we don't get into complications here. We just get public domain, which I'm pretty sure this is public domain. Again, the later the movies get, the less sure that you can be. But by all accounts, Don't Look in the Basement is public domain. There's an asylum. There's axe murders. Kind of sounds like Silent Night, Bloody Night to me.
Well,
same year, but not Christmas themed. So just your regular old axe murder asylum movie.
We're out of our holidays, as I like to.
We're out of the holidays.
I've been in a holidays.
And it's I don't know if Sweet Feet wants to be broadcasting this, but I believe it's also Sweet Feet's birthday, so don't worry,
Sweet Feet with the neat cleats, about to beep beep, honey wheat geeks.
The lyrical genius that is Fresh. Can't understate that enough. But yeah, so please join us next Friday at 9 p.m. for that. Should be a lot of fun. And again, anytime we get a newer color movie, it's always an experience. You can catch us on Wednesday for another installment of Flash Gordon Conquers the Universe. We're 8 chapters in. And so that'll be, you're in store for spaceship battles and explosions and Flash Gordon just constantly somehow defying the odds. Some sci-fi. Something to behold. You can find us on all the socials at Scream Stream Show. Find Fresh at Fresh Rogan on all the socials. Anything before we close out tonight, boys?
I got nothing.
All right.
Yeah.
Well,
just ghost squawks.
Ghost squawks, indeed. Thank you, boys, as always. Sweet screams, everybody.
Creep tight.
To all a good friend.